uses.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile. Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, jm.com, and on the Nationwide app available in Google Play and the App Store. This Tuesday afternoon, it's Tuesday, April 23, 2024.
News at 5 is brought to you by KFC Hot Wings. Available in hot and spicy barbecue. KFC Hot Wings, a wing for the win. KFC is finger licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Juliet Holness, has yielded to public pressure and tabled the Attorney General's opinion regarding the handling of reports from the Integrity Commission and the Auditor General. Mrs. Holness tabled the documents this afternoon. She told the House that she is doing so to ensure clarity on public affairs.
I have caused to lay on the table of Parliament the advice of the Attorney General as well as the advice of the Legislative Council for Parliament, which formed part of my review and consideration regarding the process to be engaged when tabling reports of the Auditor General in respect of public bodies. I have also laid on the table the opinions as it relates to the Integrity Commission. This does not in any way set precedents for the tabling of legal advice given to the Speaker in the future. However, as Speaker, my ultimate duty is to ensure clarity and full understanding by the Jamaican people in public affairs.
The House Speaker had refused to share the opinions that informed her ruling on how reports from the Auditor General and the Integrity Commission should be handled. In the case of the Auditor General, Mrs. Holness ruled that reports relating to public bodies must first be sent to the Minister with portfolio responsibility. However, in her statement this afternoon, she backed away from this position. She said she'll continue to table the reports using the previously established Parliamentary convention.
Regardless of my ruling and the differing legal perspective provided as it relates to reports of the Auditor General, they have all been tabled, and I will continue to table the reports accordingly to previously established practice for the time being. Nevertheless, in the interest of good governance, I urge this House and strongly urge this House to act quickly to review the relevant legislation to remove any ambiguity or gaps in the process. Thank you. Petitions, papers, reports from committees, notices of motions given orally.
Juliet Holness, the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
And the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Juliet Holness, says a letter she sent to the former Clerk of the Houses of Parliament, Valerie Curtis, which accused her of dereliction of duty, was never placed on her file. The comment by Mrs. Holness formed part of tributes paid to the former clerk. The clerk retired earlier this month. Mrs. Holness says despite the reprimand being made public, she does not want it to overshadow the years of commendable service provided by Ms. Curtis. Norgay Banton tells us more.
The letter in question heavily criticized Ms. Curtis for her handling of reports from the Auditor General's department. Mrs. Holness accused the clerk of dereliction of duty and charged that the reprimand would be added to her record just days before her retirement. However, Mrs. Holness says this was never followed through.
On a particular administrative matter and the resulting procedural communication to her, which was never placed on her HR record, but which has unfortunately been circulated in the public domain, was never intended to distract from her years of service and valuable contribution to the Parliament. Therefore, it is important for me to state that I continue to hold the retired clerk in high regard and acknowledge her contribution and not allow that to be overshadowed for any reason. The former clerk has left an indelible mark on the Parliament, and it is our hope that she will enjoy her well-deserved retirement.
Similarly, Prime Minister Andrew Holness praised the former clerk for her sterling contribution to the affairs of Gordon House.
Madam Speaker, you have mentioned that there is a particular administrative matter which has made its way into the public domain and which would have cast a certain unfortunate shadow on a career that has well served this Parliament. Madam Speaker, I note your statements regarding your own respect and acknowledgement of the service of our former clerk. I note the statement made by the leader of opposition business. We join in saying that we too would want her to be here to receive our tributes in person.
However, leader of opposition business Philip Paulwell says it was unfortunate that the clerk left with such a cloud over her head. He again called for the letter in question to be withdrawn and a public apology issued to Ms. Curtis.
The leader of government business will also note my deeper concern that the former clerk has departed with this tremendous cloud that exists. And he knows that we could not come here today to pay meaningful tribute and sincere tribute, unless that issue is dealt with. And our position has been that it was an unfortunate letter, and we believe that the letter should be withdrawn, but more so, and based on her own words, it was a tremendous embarrassment to her family and friends. And that in addition to the withdrawal of the letter, there should be a public apology offered.
Nora Gay Banton for Nationwide News.
The Integrity Commission has recommended that a criminal charge be brought against a former Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland, the PNP's Dwayne Vaz. The recommendation from the Commission was the subject of a report tabled in the House of Representatives today. More in this report from Siobhan Campbell.
The report tabled in the lower house of Parliament this afternoon says Director of Corruption Prosecution Keisha Prince Kimika has recommended that Dwayne Vaz be charged. He's being accused of breaching Section 43(1)(b) of the Integrity Commission Act. That section of the legislation speaks to a public official failing without reasonable cause to provide any information as the Director of Information and Complaints may require in accordance with the provisions of the Act. The matter concerns Mr. Vaz's statutory declarations for the year 2019. Dwayne Vaz served as MP for Central Westmoreland between 2014 and 2020. He first won the seat in a by-election on December 1, 2014, filling a vacancy in Parliament caused by the death of former Agriculture Minister Roger Clerk. He earned his full mandate at the 2016 general election, beating the JLP's Faye Jacobs. But he could not repeat the trick in 2020, losing the seat to the JLP's George Wright. Dwayne Vaz is the PNP's caretaker in Central Westmoreland. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
The government has filed an appeal to resolve what it's describing as an inconsistency in a recent court ruling on the tenure of Paula Llewellyn as Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP. Last Friday, the Constitutional Court struck down an amendment that allowed a second extension of the tenure of Ms. Llewellyn as DPP. The court ruled that the amendment, which extended the retirement age for the DPP from 60 to 65, was validly enacted into law. However, it also found that the Holness administration acted unlawfully in granting the DPP the second extension. Since then, Ms. Llewellyn has indicated that she's unable to carry out the functions of the office at this time. Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says the court's decision is contradictory.
In 2017, the government introduced the Pensions Public Service Act 2017, initiating a policy shift to extend the retirement age of public officers from 60 to 65. This change was further cemented by the Constitution Amendment of Sections 96(1) and 121(1) Act 2023. On April 19, the court upheld the constitutional amendments, confirming the valid extension of the retirement age for these positions to 65 years. However, despite this affirmation, the court ruled that the current DPP, Paula Llewellyn, could not remain in her position until age 65, creating a significant contradiction within its verdict.
The amendments to the Constitution saw the retirement ages for the DPP and the Auditor General moved from 60 to 65. Minister Chuck says the government's appeal of the ruling is to resolve this contradiction in the judgment.
In response to this conflicting outcome, the government, represented by the Attorney General, has filed an appeal with the Court of Appeal to resolve this inconsistency. The appeal argues for a harmonization of the retirement provisions, maintaining the intended retirement benefits for all affected public officers as per sections 2.2 for the DPP and 3.2 for the Auditor General in alignment with the Constitution. The government remains committed to ensuring that statutory and constitutional amendments serve the intended purposes without ambiguity or disadvantage to any public officer.
Delroy Chuck, Justice Minister, Senior Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, Claudette Thompson, has been appointed to act as the country's chief prosecutor for a period of 6 months. Her appointment took effect on Monday.
And there are 17 grounds of appeal on which the government will rely for the reversal of the decision made by the Constitutional Court to strike down the second extension of the tenure of the DPP. The appellant, the Attorney General, officially submitted the application to the Court of Appeal today. The Attorney General argues that the full court was plainly wrong in all the circumstances to grant judgment for the respondents, Member of Parliament Philip Polwell and Leader of Opposition Business in the Senate Peter Bunting. The Attorney General maintains that the full court erred in its interpretation of the amended section of the Constitution. The government submits that the amendment of the Constitution was passed for a proper purpose. The appellants gave notice that they intend to apply for the appeal to be heard as a matter of urgency. You're listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
15 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial is the expert in pest control, air purification and hygiene services. Call today 876-926-4236.
The temperature by Rentokil is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 out west in Montego Bay. Continuing the news, Education Minister Favour Williams is to visit the parents of 15-year-old Irwin High School student Raneel Plummer. Raneel died after being stabbed by a 14-year-old schoolmate at the gates of their Granville St. James School last Thursday. Minister Williams visited the school Tuesday morning.
This morning I'm really saddened, and I'm going to be visiting along with my colleague ministers, the regional director and others. We're hoping to get the chance to visit with the parent of the student who died, Raneel. I know it's going to be tough. I know we're going to have to sit through and listen to the cry of a mother, but that we must do in order to offer some comfort to her as well.
Raneel's mother told journalists last week that she reported to the school that her son was being bullied. She believes her son would be alive if the school had acted on the complaints. Minister Williams says support will also have to be provided to the teenage perpetrator.
We have to offer something as well to the perpetrator, because obviously something went very wrong in his life that caused him to be walking with a knife, that caused him to pull that knife, that caused him to stab that student, that eventually caused the death of the student. And so we have to bring as well all the resources that we have to understand that student as well, so that we can prevent this from happening among other students.
Favour Williams, Minister of Education and Youth.
And the commanding officer for the St. James Police Division, Acting Senior Superintendent Aaron Samuels, says charges should be laid this week in the case of the stabbing death of Raneel Plummer. Raneel's 14-year-old Irwin High School mate has been in custody in connection with the fatal incident since Friday.
The investigations are far advanced. In my update from my crime officer, DSP Moore, some more students are going to be interviewed along with the Dean of Discipline, and we intend to prefer charges before the end of this week.
Aaron Samuels, Acting Senior Superintendent and Commanding Officer for the St. James Police Division.
A school board executive who has weighed in on the matter of the expelled St. James High School girls says the students should be reinstated. Vice Chair of the Greater Portmore High School, Gary Mowat, says the students' rights have been breached and natural justice has not been served.
In my humble opinion, the process has been tainted, the laws of natural justice has not been maintained, and the students should be returned to school because their fundamental rights have been breached.
The girls were booted from the school after they were seen kissing in a 2-second video that one of them posted to her WhatsApp status. The incident has revealed a breakdown in the relationship between the board and the principal. Board Chairman Christopher McCurdy maintains that the girls were not formally expelled as the principal, Joseph Williams, did not follow the prescribed disciplinary process set out in the Education Regulations Act. He says the decision was not brought before the board. Meanwhile, Mr. Mowat explains that the disciplinary process should have begun with a hearing with the students' parents and, were it so decided, should have included suspension before escalating to expulsion. Mr. Mowat says the school board should decide what actions to take against the principal.
And what of the principal?
That's a decision of the board. The board must take all bad acts into consideration and make a recommendation where the principal is concerned to the Minister of Education as per regulation.
Gary Mowat, Vice Chair of Greater Portmore High School, he was speaking on Nationwide this morning with Tonna Thomas and Saeed Bernard.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success. Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, empowering entrepreneurs for a better future.
The World in a Minute.
Legislators in Grenada will begin debating on Thursday a resolution giving effect to a gun amnesty in the island from May 1 to July 30 this year. Parliament recently approved an amendment to the Firearms Act, and according to the order paper circulated for Thursday's meeting, the legislators will debate a resolution giving effect to the amnesty. Members of the Senate will also meet to debate on Friday a resolution that states that Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell is satisfied that the amnesty may result in the reduction of illegally possessed firearms or ammunition in Grenada. The amendment to the Firearms Act introduced a new section that will give the Minister of National Security the power to declare a gun amnesty for 90 days. According to the order, all police stations and police headquarters will be collection points for illegal firearms and ammunition, and the officers in charge or on duty will be responsible for receiving them.
The underbelly of New York City's tabloid media industry was laid bare in court on Tuesday as Donald Trump's hush money trial went into its second day. Former publisher of the National Enquirer, David Pecker, he outlined a secret plan he had with Trump and his personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, calling it an agreement among friends. He testified that the three worked to suppress negative stories about candidate Trump during his 2016 campaign. Pecker's testimony could prove critical for prosecutors as they seek to prove that Trump tried to influence the election by quelling a story of an alleged affair. Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records. Prosecutors allege he tried to cover up a $130,000 payment to porn star Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election. Continuing his testimony from Monday, as the trial's first witness, Pecos said he met Trump in the late 1980s and eventually became good friends with the former president. Pecos said in 2015 he agreed to suppress negative articles about Trump and instead promote positive stories about him. The tabloid publisher said he also agreed to notify Trump about stories concerning his romantic affairs.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success. Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, empowering entrepreneurs for a better future.
Recapping the top stories in nationwide news at this hour. The Speaker of the House, Juliet Holness, finally tables the Attorney General's opinion on the handling of reports from the Integrity Commission and the Auditor General.
My ultimate duty is to ensure clarity and full understanding by the Jamaican people in public affairs.
And the Speaker says her letter to the former clerk of the House, Valerie Curtis, accusing her of dereliction of duty was never placed on her file.
The Integrity Commission recommends that former MP, the PNP's Dwayne Vaz, be charged for failing to file statutory declarations for 2019.
The government has appealed the Constitutional Court's ruling that it acted unlawfully in granting the DPP a second extension.
I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by KFC Hot Wings. Available in hot and spicy barbecue. KFC Hot Wings, a wing for the win. KFC is finger-licking good.
Public opinion. Stop this foolish about this JLP and PMP business. We are a Jamaican. Different people.
It's not a matter of a JLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Grey Shield champions Excelsior High were in full control on day one of the Spalding Cup playoff against the Headley Cup winners Manchester High School at Melbourne. Excelsior won the toss and batted, and they were dismissed for 218 in 52 overs, thanks in the main to David Duar, who slammed 81 from 53 balls with 11 fours and 3 sixes. Duar shared in an opening stand of 123 with Jameer Daly, who weighed in with 41, while Cavan Malcolm made 20 against Captain Brian Barnes at 3 for 32 and Keelan Jones at 2 for 3. Manchester in reply were bundled out for 71 in 23 overs after falling at one stage to 49 for 8. Captain Michael Clark bagged the 4 for 23 and DeMarcus caught 4 for 25. Batting a second time, Excelsior reached 38 without loss at sports time, an overall lead of 185. The West Indies women beat Pakistan by 88 runs in the third and final one-day international at the Karachi National Stadium today to sweep the series by 3-0. Chasing 279 for victory, Pakistan were bowled out for 119 side 48 overs. Muniba Ali made 38, Alia Riaz 36, Fatima Sana 23, and Tuba Hassan. Captain Haley Matthews, Tafani Taylor, and Alia Alain took 2 wickets apiece. earlier Matthews produced another batting masterclass. She raced to a career best 141 as the Windies made 278 for 6 of their 50 overs. Matthews slammed in 19 fours and was supported by Taylor 47, Charmaine Campbell 38 and Elaine 20. Nashra Sandhu picked up 3 wickets and Fatima Sana 2. The series holds significance as they contribute to the ongoing ICC Women's Championship. Arsenal have moved the 3 points clear at the top of the English Premier League standings thanks to a crushing 5-0 win over Chelsea in their London derby at the Emirates today. Former Chelsea player Kai Havertz and Ben White were both on the score sheet twice, while Leo Trossard got the other goal.
Rice, lot of space ahead of Trossard, but Rice can drive. Now Trossard! Chelsea pierced in a trice by Trossard. Sharp out of the box on another night when they need it. Saka, Declan Rice against Partey. In by Ben White, as improbable as it is mightily welcome. Stolen away for Odegaard, who's seen a run here from Havertz. This is Kai Havertz. He's thumped it in. Arsenal are flying! Saka, Havertz, 4. Odegaard, White. Oh! Everything's going right. Arsenal are so good, they're scoring by mistake. It's 5-0. All White on the night.
And it could have been much, much more people. Now, it was the Gunners' biggest ever league win over the Blues, and it leaves them on 77 points, 3 ahead of Liverpool, who play Everton in the Merseyside derby tomorrow, and they're 4 ahead of the champions Manchester City, who will be in action on Thursday at Brighton and Hove Albion. They are 2 days away from the 128th running of the Penn Relays at historic Franklin Field Stadium in the USA, April 25 to 27, with Jamaica's Javon Francis and Kareem Bartley among 8 athletes announced for the next Olympic development field for the men's 400 meters, a battle between the US and the Caribbean. 6 of the 8 competitors have posted sub-45 personal best times. Francis won silver in the 4x400 meters at the Rio Olympic Games in 2016 and silver in the same event when he famously anchored the Jamaica team in Moscow 2013. Bartley won silver in the 4x400 meters at the Eugene World Championships in 2022. Jamaica's under-18 men's football team were beaten 2-1 by Saudi Arabia in their opening match of the UEFA Friendship Tournament in Turkey yesterday. Saudi Arabia led 2-0 before Dunstan Cohen scored the lone goal for Jamaica on minute 80. The young Reggae boys had a chance to level the score in the final minute, but they were unable to convert from the spot in the final minute of the game. And their second game against hosts Turkey is set for tomorrow. That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hyundai, the home of modern premium affordable vehicles. Call us at 876-630-1511. The time by Hyundai is
5:30.
You didn't know if the government decreased JUTC bus fares? Yes, it's now 70 for adults, 25 for children, and 30 for pensioners. And in April, fares will go down even further to 50 for adults, 20 for children, and 25 for pensioners.
The temperature by the office of the Prime Minister is
31 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 29 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Good health starts with proper hydration. Hydrate your body with Hydrate. Hydrate is purified natural water from rocks 110 feet below the ground. You have never tasted water so great, yet so affordable. Yes, taste and experience it for yourself. Water at its best. Hydrate. Available also as purified alkaline water and ultra-purified distilled water. Bottled by LLNSCS Limited, a subsidiary of Max Pharmaceuticals. Call 876-983-6466.
Variety is the spice of life. That's not just true for entertainment, it's true for investing too. While stocks, bonds, and cash are effective, there are other credible investment options out there. These are alternative investments, ranging from digital options like cryptocurrencies to old school investments like gold, real estate, and private equity. You can invest on your own or via a fund with a curated portfolio of investment options.
Visit barita.com/opportunities for more growth coach insights.
I stay locked to the Olympics because, of course, I'm Jamaican.
What you mean? Me, I have to tune into the Olympics, man. Because me always busy, but what? I have to know when Sherika Jackson beat Shakari.
Brother, I have to have every notification for the Olympics. I want to hear every run.
Now Sherika Jackson coming up.
Every jump.
Oh, that is absolutely huge of Wade Pinkham.
Every fling. Live.
So, take us then.
Nothing can miss me.
We're always on the move.
So while we're driving, run, Elaine, run.
Jogging. Yes. Run, Watson. Win again.
Watson is now a world champion.
Or even at work.
Quick. The race has started.
We can't miss a beat because we keep it locked.
To the only station.
For the Paris Olympics.
Nationwide.
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 90 FM.
Nationwide 90.1, 90.3, 90.5, 90.7 and 90.9, and on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live. Nationwide, the new revolution in media.
1, 2, 3, they're gonna run back to me.
They say all good things come to an end. Some things end before they come good. And when it's over, and everything good for talk. The memories are supposed to mean a makeup doesn't happen after a breakup. But not every time it done means it really done. What's the point of fixing things you said couldn't work after the fact? How easy is it to make it better the second time around? I guess some things come easy, but that too can be a problem. Or is it just ego that makes a partner want to try again to prove a point? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic: if you left because you're vexed, why would you go back to your ex?
1, 2, 3, they're gonna run back to me. They always wanna come, but they never wanna leave.
Brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton, weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Well, it's a busy afternoon. A lot coming out of Parliament this afternoon that we have to get through for you. And the first one, we're going to begin with the Integrity Commission has recommended that a criminal charge be brought against a former Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland, the PNP's Dwayne Vaz. The recommendation from the Commission was subject of a report tabled in the House of Representatives this afternoon. But there is another development since we came on air at 5 in the news broadcast. We have now received from Mr. Vaz an outline, a chronology of events, including what he is saying to us, that he has been summoned to court on the 26th of March this year. He was summoned to appear before the Halfway Tree Parish Court. And based on what we're hearing from Mr. Vaz, yes, he has produced a letter dated May 18, 2021 from the Integrity Commission, essentially clearing him, yes, of any breach. Mr. Vaz will join us in a moment. But first, this report from Siobhan Campbell.
The report tabled in the lower house of Parliament this afternoon says Director of Corruption Prosecution Keisha Prince Kimika has recommended that Dwayne Vaz be charged. He's being accused of breaching Section 43(1)(b) of the Integrity Commission Act. The That section of the legislation speaks to a public official failing without reasonable cause to provide any information as the Director of Information and Complaints may require in accordance with the provisions of the Act. The matter concerns Mr. Vaz's statutory declarations for the year 2019. Dwayne Vaz served as MP for Central Westmoreland between 2014 and 2020. He first won the seat in a by-election on December 1, 2014, filling a vacancy in Parliament caused by the death of former Agriculture Minister Roger Clerk. He earned his full mandate at the 2016 general election, beating the JLP's Faye Jacobs. But he could not repeat the trick in 2020, losing the seat to the JLP's George Wright. Dwayne Vaz is the PNP's caretaker in Central Westmoreland. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
So, thank you, Siobhan. So, that was the subject of one of the reports tabled in the House this afternoon. And then we got this, shortly after 5 this afternoon, from Mr. Vaz. Yes, dated May 18, 2021. Mr. Dwayne Vaz, and it gives his address. It says, and I'm reading it in full, it says, "Dear Sir, read the Integrity Commission Act 2017, Section 42.3a. The Integrity Commission hereby certifies that your statutory declaration as at December 31, 2019 has been examined. Based on the examination, which does not constitute an audit, it appears that the declaration has been duly completed in accordance with the provisions of the Integrity Commission Act. Yours respectfully, Mr. Craig Beresford, Director of Information and Complaints, for and on behalf of the Integrity Commission." And then, Siobhan, you want to pick it up from that?
Yes, we also have a statement here from Mr. Vaz dated April 24, 2024, saying clarification and response to parliamentary report, Reintegrity Commission from Dwayne Vaz. It says, Westmoreland, Jamaica, following the discussions in Parliament today, April 23, 2024, regarding allegations of non-compliance with the Integrity Commission, I wish to provide a detailed account of the events and clarify my adherence to the requirements set forth by the Integrity Commission Act. It then goes on to give a timeline of events and compliance efforts.
And the critical points of that timeline outlined by Mr. Vaz, he says, number 5, May 18, 2021, that letter from the Integrity Commission certifying, yes, that they had received his statutory declaration as at December 31. And then he says point 6, which is a real surprise, March 26, 2024, that's less than a month ago. He says, 3 years later, I received a summons to appear before the Halfway Tree Parish Court on charges of failing to provide required information to the Integrity Commission. The hearing held on April 9, 2024, brought to light a misunderstanding regarding these charges, which appeared to contradict the 2021 confirmation of compliance from the IC. I was charged for failure to submit declarations, which is untrue and has been verified by the May 18, 2021 letter received from the Commission.
That is interesting. It says, it goes on to point 7, which says court proceedings. The court recognized the inconsistency in the information presented. I have been given the opportunity to review the Commission's documentation further and am scheduled to return to the court on April 30, 2024. It says, note that the lawyers representing the Integrity Commission were unaware of the May 18, 2021 letter from the Integrity Commission certifying my declaration.
What is this? Mr. Vaz joins us. Good afternoon, Mr. Vaz.
Good afternoon.
And let me quickly add, it's Dwayne. It's Dwayne. It's Dwayne Vaz. Okay.
Yes, Dwayne Vaz.
Because we know we have another prominent Vaz. Yeah. So it's Dwayne Vaz. Mr. Vaz. So
yes,
you appeared in court, right?
Yes, I did.
On April 9, 2024. And in your chronology this afternoon, you said, note, the lawyers representing the Integrity Commission were unaware of that May 18, 2021 letter from the Commission certifying your declaration. So
Yes, that's
when
correct.
did that come out in court, that they were unaware?
Yes, the lawyer stated she did not have that letter on the file. So we provided the letter to her at that point in time.
And after that?
And after that, it was decided that both lawyers should have a discussion and find a suitable date when it would return to court. And it was agreed that we should return on the 30th of April.
That's week after next Tuesday.
Yes, week after next Tuesday.
So what happened
well,
here?
Well, next Tuesday to be exact.
Yes, next Tuesday, right? Next Tuesday is the 30th. So have your lawyers indicated to you what happened here?
Well, based on what happened, because when my lawyer saw the letter they sent me, we were confused as to why the charge stated that they're charging me for non-submission or non-declaration. Because I had the proof that I had actually submitted. So what I thought they were charging me for was actually a payment that they stated I should have made, which I was not, well, I wouldn't say not aware, but based on the letter on May 18th, I thought, probably assumed wrongfully, that I was not supposed to pay that money. That's a figure of $250,000.
That's a penalty for non-submission.
When I received the summons this year, I was so surprised I actually called the Integrity Commission before the bailiff because I was confused. I thought something was wrong.
So the bailiff turned up?
When I called them, they advised me that it's because I did not pay that fee.
So hold on, a bailiff turned up at your premises?
Well, I was actually at my son's sports day, and they phone. Well, they called me. I told them I was there because I was not hiding.
No.
I told them to come and see me at the sports day, which he did. And I was so surprised because this was 3 years after. I heard nothing from the Integrity Commission from I received this letter on May 18th. So you would understand how surprised I was to receive a summons from an agency that I thought I had complied with fully.
So, Mr. Vaz, I actually have the report in front of me, and it does say that the DI concludes that you were given an opportunity to discharge liability by paying the fixed penalty and submitting the requested information, and that the DI further concludes that you only complied with the latter. Therefore, your failure to discharge your liability was inconsistent with Section 43.3 of the Integrity Commission Act. So they're saying that, yes, you failed to pay a fixed penalty.
And that's why I thought I was being charged for failure to pay. Because what happened, as I said, I wrongfully assumed, or probably wrongfully assumed, that because the letter was worded in that way on May 18, I thought that everything was done with.
That you were compliant.
That's what I thought. So I was surprised this year when they approached me. But when I called the Integrity Commission, they explained to me that it's the funds, that is the money that I didn't pay, why I'm being charged. But the actual charge is stating that I did not submit the document, which is not true. So that is misleading everyone. It would seem like I failed up to this day to submit that declaration for 2019, which is not the case.
But explain this to me. Why are you being charged a fixed penalty for something that the Integrity Commission says that you fully completed?
Well, the payment, they had sent a notice in February 2021. I just see it in the statement. That notice would have stated that I must submit the documents within a particular period of time. So when I submitted the documents, it would have been outside of that period of time. I think it was 21 days, but I submitted in late March that year. So I actually personally brought it in myself. So when I received the letter in May, confirming from them that everything is duly okay, basically.
That's
I
May
automatically
2021.
assumed that everything was okay and done with, and the matter was done with.
That was 3 years ago, May
That was
2021.
3 years ago.
Well, this is interesting. Yeah. And again, the questions about the Integrity Commission proceedings and handling of these matters. Because when the report was tabled in the House this afternoon, explain to us how that was presented.
It was presented as he had breached Section 43(1)(b) of the Integrity Commission Act, which suggests that he failed to provide the information. It said nothing about a fixed penalty.
And it also said he was charged.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All right. It didn't say that he had appeared in court.
No, there was no mention of a court appearance whatsoever, whether in the actual ruling provided or the actual report provided to the Parliament.
No mention of that.
No mention of a court appearance.
Mr. Vaz, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome,
And I'm
sir.
really hoping that all the listeners would fully understand what has happened. And I just want to state clearly that I did submit that information. I may have submitted late because of circumstances beyond my control at the time, but I did submit, and I always, and going forward, will adhere to all the rules and regulations of not only the Integrity Commission, but from Jamaica.
Thank you, sir. Dwayne Vaz. After the break, the Attorney General's opinion on how reports from the Integrity Commission and the Auditor General are to be handled was tabled in the House. Yes, so Parliamentary reporter Siobhan Campbell has been reading the reports. He will tell us what it says. Okay?
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
11 minutes to 6.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit account puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Minutes going up to 6 o'clock. The other big item of news out of the Parliament this afternoon concerns the long-running issue of the Speaker's refusal to table the opinion of the Attorney General on how reports from the Auditor General and the Integrity Commission to the Parliament are to be handled. And you will be aware that pressure has been building for the Speaker, Juliet Holness, to table that report, that opinion, not report, to table that opinion. And she did so this afternoon. So, you have been trying to read it, Siobhan, yeah, the reports. Now, tell me,
Yes.
what have we learned now?
Yes, so the crux of this matter starts with how Auditor General reports are to be tabled in the House. According to the initial ruling that was back in November by Mrs. Holness, these must first, when it relates to public bodies, those are statutory bodies, the report must first be sent to the minister, who must peruse the report, and within 2 months he must then submit the documents along with his comments to the Parliament.
Right.
So that was what she was clinging to in terms of her ruling. So there has been those who've suggested that is not the right principle. The report should just go directly to the Parliament and should be submitted forthwith. So the Attorney General's opinion, which formed that now, which has been much of this has been based on that Attorney General's report, that the Speaker has said she would not submit because she believed that it was submitted as essentially attorney-client privilege, and she felt in submitting that report now, she would be setting a precedent where any form of legal opinion that she would have received as a speaker or any future speaker would then have to be submitted to the House of Representatives as a document. Now, she made it clear when she submitted the Attorney General's opinion now that she is not setting that precedent. She's submitting it only to provide clarity on this point. So we have now before us the actual Attorney General's Chamber's comments on this matter, and the Attorney General says that there are 3 ways in which a report from the Auditor General should be tabled. You have annual reports and special reports. Those now must be tabled under Section 29. These can be essentially what Section 29 of the Financial Administration and Audit Act says is that these must go directly to the Parliament. So those are specifically annual reports and special reports. Now, what it says in relation to reports from public bodies now is that if the Auditor General is submitting a report under Section 30 now, which deals with public bodies, the report must be sent to the appropriate minister. And the obligations of the minister once receiving the report from the Auditor General who has acted under Section 30 of the Act are as follows: to obtain the comments of the public body which are to be presented to the House of Representatives with the report, and to present the report to the House of Representatives within 2 months after receiving the report from the Auditor General. So it clearly backs up what Mrs. Holness has said in relation to how those reports from the Auditor General are to be treated. When it relates to a public body, which is the crux of the matter, that is what we're talking about, the Financial Services Commission, which has recently happened, along with the Tax Administration of Jamaica, which we recently had, those reports are to be sent to the minister first. And once the minister has those reports in hand, he is given 2 months at most to look through it, consult with the public body, and then those documents are to be sent to the House of Representatives. So you could say that the Speaker has been vindicated in her position.
And the pillaring that she has received over the last,
Precisely,
3
because
months.
we are suggesting, that there's been comments floating around that she was politically motivation has led to her using this as a shield to hide certain documentations. But it would seem on the weight of things that there is no variance between what she has suggested should be the practice going forward and what the Attorney General is suggesting should be the practice going forward.
Well. We are going to try and post these on our website, so for you to be able to read them in greater detail. But the story this afternoon is simply this: the Speaker has tabled the opinion of the the Attorney General, and the Legal Counsel to the Parliament, right? The Parliamentary Council, and clearly there was nothing being hidden there, except she wanted to hold dear to the principle of not making public lawyer-client privileges or correspondence.
But it should be noted that she has backed away from the position and suggests that she will, going forward, table the reports as it had been parliamentary convention even before she received this opinion. But reading the Attorney General's opinion on the matter, which has backed up her previous position, I wonder if the Speaker does not feel at least emboldened to continue with what she's been doing, because unless someone is going to take into question the Attorney General's opinion on this matter.
Yes. Well, listen to what she told the House, yes? She told the House that she's doing so to ensure clarity on public affairs.
I have caused to lay on the table of Parliament the advice of the Attorney General as well as the advice of the Legislative Council for Parliament, which formed part of my review and consideration regarding the process to be engaged when tabling reports of the Auditor General in respect of public bodies. I have also laid on the table the opinions as it relates to the Integrity Commission. This does not in any way set precedents for the tabling of legal advice given to the Speaker in the future. However, as Speaker, my ultimate duty is to ensure clarity and full understanding by the Jamaican people in public affairs.
That's Juliet Holness this afternoon. Well. So, there you have it. Yes, much more to digest. There was the tribute to Valerie Curtis, and it also came a bit of news out of that now infamous letter that the Speaker, had said will be placed on the file of Miss Curtis, who just retired as the clerk to the Houses. It did not reach Miss Curtis's file.
It never made it to her permanent record.
Mm-hmm.
But it still begs the question, does that mean that it should be withdrawn in terms of the actual, now that it's a public document essentially, should the House Speaker issue a withdrawal and an apology? Or is the simple fact that it was not actually amended to her file, does that suffice?
The key thing here, it was made very public. Very public it was made, very public. Yes, we reported it, every media house reported it. Yes, I don't know if this will be as prominently reported as it was then. Thank you very much, Siobhan. You had a very busy afternoon.
It's been a hectic afternoon, yes.
Very well. You earn your keep today. You don't often do so. That's a cover story. That's a cover story. The news is next, or the headlines are next.
They say all good things come to an end. Some things end before they come good. And when it's over, and everything good for talk. The memories are supposed to mean a makeup doesn't happen after a breakup. But not every time it done means it really done. What's the point of fixing things you said couldn't work after the fact? How easy is it to make it better the second time around? I guess some things come easy, but that too can be a problem. Or is it just ego that makes a partner want to try again to prove a point? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic: if you left because you're vexed, why would you go back to your ex?
1, 2, 3, they're gonna run back to me. They always wanna come, but they never wanna leave.
Brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
History for tomorrow. Yesterday's narrative, today's guide. Join us as we discuss the people, places, and events that have influenced the world as it is today. Remember, knowing your history is essential to understanding the present. So join us on History for Tomorrow, Saturdays at 19.
Say hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan, and secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness today. Call 888-367-5433 for details.
The time by Guardian Life is
6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening. With the headlines at 6, I'm Nora Gay Banton. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Juliet Holness, has yielded to public pressure, and tabled the Attorney General's opinion regarding the handling of reports from the Integrity Commission of the Auditor General and the Auditor General. Mrs. Holness tabled the documents Tuesday afternoon. She told the lower house that she's doing so to ensure clarity on public affairs.
I have caused to lay on the table of Parliament the advice of the Attorney General as well as the advice of the Legislative Council for Parliament, which formed part of my review and consideration regarding the process to be engaged when tabling reports of the Auditor General in respect of public bodies. I have also laid on the table the opinions as it relates to the Integrity Commission. This does not in any way set precedents for the tabling of legal advice given to the Speaker in the future. However, as Speaker, my ultimate duty is to ensure clarity and full understanding by the Jamaican people in public affairs.
The House Speaker had refused to share the opinions that informed her ruling on how reports from the Integrity Commission and the Auditor General should be handled. In the case of the Auditor General, Mrs. Holness ruled that reports relating to public bodies must first be sent to the Minister with portfolio responsibility. However, in her statement Tuesday afternoon, she backed away from this position. She says she'll continue to table the reports using the previously established parliamentary convention.
Regardless of my ruling and the differing legal perspective provided as it relates to reports of the Auditor General, they have all been tabled, and I will continue to table the reports accordingly to previously established practice for the time being. Nevertheless, in the interest of good governance, I urge this House and strongly urge this House to act quickly to review the relevant legislation to remove any ambiguity or gaps in the process. Thank you.
Gillette Holness, Speaker of the House of Representatives. The Integrity Commission has recommended that a criminal charge be brought against former Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland, the PNP's Dwayne Vaz. The recommendation from the Commission was the subject of a report tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. The report tabled in the lower house of Parliament this afternoon says the Director of Corruption Prosecution, Keisha Prince Kamika, has recommended that Dwayne Vaz be charged. He's being accused of breaching Section 43(1)(b) of the Integrity Commission Act. That section of the legislation speaks to a public official failing without reasonable cause to provide any information as the Director of Information and Complaints may require in accordance with the provisions of the Act. The matter concerns Mr. Vaz's statutory declarations for the year 2019. Dwayne Vaz served as MP for Central Westmoreland between 2014 and 2020. He first won the seat in a by-election on December 1, 2014, filling a vacancy in Parliament caused by the death of a former Agriculture Minister, Roger Clerk. He earned his full mandate at the 2016 general election, beating the JLP's Faye Jacobs, but he could not repeat the trick in 2020, losing the seat to the JLP's George Wright. Dwayne Vaz is the PNP's caretaker in Central Westmoreland. The Speaker of the House, Gillette Holness, says a letter she sent to the former Clerk of the Houses of Parliament, Valerie Curtis, which accused her of dereliction of duty, was never placed on her file. The comment by Mrs. Holness formed part of tributes paid to the former clerk. The clerk retired earlier this month. Mrs. Holness says, despite the reprimand being made public, she does not want it to overshadow the years of commendable service provided by Miss Curtis. The letter in question heavily criticized Miss Curtis for her handling of reports from the Auditor General's department. Mrs. Holness accused the clerk of dereliction of duty and charged that the reprimand would be added to her record just days before her retirement. However, Mrs. Holness says this was never followed through.
On a particular administrative matter and the resulting procedural communication to her, which was never placed on her HR record, but which has unfortunately been circulated in the public domain, was never intended to distract from her years of service and valuable contribution to the Parliament. Therefore, it is important for me to state that I continue to hold the retired clerk in high regard and acknowledge her contribution and not allow that to be overshadowed for any reason. The former clerk has left an indelible mark on the Parliament, and it is our hope that she will enjoy her well-deserved retirement.
Similarly, Prime Minister Andrew Holness praised the former clerk for her sterling contribution to the affairs of Gordon House.
Madam Speaker, you have mentioned that there is a particular administrative matter which has made its way into the public domain and which would have cast a certain unfortunate shadow on a career that has well served this Parliament. Madam Speaker, I note your statements regarding your own respect and acknowledgement of the service of our former clerk. I note the statement made by the leader of opposition business. We join in saying that we too would want her to be here to receive our tributes in person.
However, leader of opposition business Philip Paulwell says it was unfortunate that the clerk left with such a cloud over her head. He again called for the letter in question to be withdrawn and a public apology issued to Ms. Curtis. Those are the headlines at 6. I'm Norige. Banton Sports is next.
Get up to 50% off your fave styles during the Ashley Furniture Home Store Spring Semi-Annual Sale Event. Shop 2-piece lounge sets starting at $183,998. Bedroom sets starting at $299,999. And mattresses starting at $39,999. Financing available from 6 to 36 months. Don't miss the Spring Semi-Annual Sale Event at the Ashley Furniture Home Store. This is home. Offer ends April 25. Conditions apply.
KFC hot wings, a wing for the win. From your taste one wing, there's just no stopping. KFC hot wings, it's finger licking, spicy or barbecue. Which one you picking? Good for have on the go. Any flex, any link. Best wing, best believer. We said the thing, long lasting flavor. We stay winning. KFC hot wings, a wing for the win. KFC hot wings, delicious, irresistible. Enjoy a 10-piece combo or 25-piece party bucket today in hot and spicy or spicy barbecue. KFC hot wings, a wing for the win.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Grey Shield champions Excelsior High were in full control on day one of the Spalding Cup playoff against Headley Cup winners Manchester High at Melbourne. Excelsior won the toss and batted. They were dismissed for 218 in 52 overs. Thanks in the main to David Dwyer, who slammed 81 from 53 balls with 11 fours and 3 sixes. Dwyer shared in an opening stand of 123 with Jameer Daly, who weighed in with 41, while Cavan Malcolm made 20 against captain Brian Barnes, 3 for 32, and Keelan Jones, 2 for 3. Manchester, in reply, were bundled out for 71 in 23 overs after falling at one stage to 49 for 8. Captain Michael Clerk bagged the 4 for 23. DeMarcus caught 4 for 25. Batting a second time, Excelsior reached 82 for 4 at close, an overall lead of 229. The West Indies women beat Pakistan by 88 runs in the third and final one-day international at the Karachi National Stadium today to sweep the series 3-0. Chasing 279 for victory, Pakistan were bowled out for 190. This inside 48 overs. Muniba Ali made 38, Alia Riaz 36, Fatima Sana 23. Captain Hayley Matthews, Stefani Taylor and Alia Alain bagged 2 wickets apiece. Earlier, Matthews produced another batting masterclass. She raced to a career best 141 as the Windies made 278 for 6 in their 50 overs. Matthews slammed in 19 fours, and she was supported by Taylor 47, Shermaine Campbell 38, and Elaine 20. Najra Sandhu bagged 3 wickets for Tima Sama 2. The series holds significance as it contributes to the ongoing ICC Women's Championship. The matches are crucial for the West Indies women as they push for direct qualification for the ICC Cricket World Cup that is due to take place in India in 2025. West Indies women are currently positioned number 9 with 8 points. Both teams will now turn their attention to the 5-match T20 International Series, the first game on Friday. Arsenal have moved the 3 points clear at the top of the English Premier League standings thanks to a crushing 5-0 win over Chelsea in the London derby at the Emirates today. Former Chelsea player Kai Havertz and Ben White were both on the score sheet twice, with Leo Trossard getting the other goal.
Rice, lot of space ahead of Trossard, but Rice can drive. Now Trossard! Chelsea pierced in a trice by Trossard. Sharp out of the box on another night when they need it. Saka, Declan Rice against Partey. In by Ben White, as improbable as it is mightily welcome. Stolen away for Odegaard, who's seen a run here from Havertz. This is Kai Havertz. He's thumped it in, and Arsenal are flying. Saka, Havertz, 4. Odegaard, White. Everything's going right. Arsenal are so good, they're scoring by mistake. It's 5-0. All White on the night.
It was the Gunners' biggest ever league win over the Blues, and it leaves them on 77 points, 3 ahead of Liverpool, who will play Everton in the Merseyside derby tomorrow, and 4 ahead of champions Manchester City, who will be in action on Thursday, visit the capital to play Brighton and Hove Albion. Jamaica's under-18 men's football team were beaten 2-1 by Saudi Arabia in their opening match of the UEFA Friendship Tournament in Turkey yesterday. Saudi Arabia led 2-0 before Dustin Cohen scored the lone goal for Jamaica on minute 80. The young Reggae Boys had a chance to level the score in the final minutes, but they were unable to convert from the spot in the final minute of the game. Their second game against the host Turkey is set for Wednesday. 11-time the Costa Cup winners Rossies, they have added Loxley Reed to their technical staff to increase their chances of winning more schoolboy football titles. Reed has been appointed as assistant coach and goalkeeper specialist at his alma mater. He will begin his stint alongside head coach Paul Teagat Davis on May 1. As a player, Reed represented the Reggae Boys on the Waterhouse. He also played in Montego Bay. His coaching resume include work with the national under 15 boys and under 17 girls teams, Harborview FC and Mount Pleasant. The last time Rossies won the rural area secondary school football competition was in 2017, and team manager Lionel Myrie says the addition of Reed is to increase their chance of lifting a 12th title.
I can confirm that Mr. Loxley Reed will be joining us effective May 1 in the capacity of assistant coach and goalkeeper specialist. We're confident in Mr. Reed's ability in getting us where we want to go in the immediate future.
Lionel Myrie and his team manager for Rossies. UEFA is set to confirm nations will have 26-man squads for this summer's Euro Championships in Germany. A meeting of the European Governing Body's National Competitions Committee voted in favour of the change, which is set to be ratified by the Executive Committee later this week. UEFA had planned to revert to the 23-man squads after allowing the 3-man expansion for Euro 2020 due to the ongoing impact of COVID-19. Expanded squads were also permitted at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar because it was played in the middle of the domestic season. Several international coaches were critical of 23-man squads, and the suggestion to stick with 26 players arose at a recent Euro 2024 coaches meeting where the idea gained widespread support. Ronald Koeman, the Netherlands manager, described UEFA's decision to reduce squad sizes for this summer's tournament as, quote, absurd and external. England boss Gareth Southgate had previously been in favour of a 23-man squads because of the difficulty in managing an extended group. However, he has changed his thinking following the amount of injuries being suffered across the Premier League this season, and that should be the number of injuries. In March, Southgate said he would name an initial 26-man Euro 2024 squad while UEFA considered the squad size requests. He will name his squad on May 21, 2 days after the end of the Premier League season, with a deadline for squads to be named on June 7. 893 athletes from 54 countries will descend on Nassau, the Bahamas for the World Relays May 4 and 5. A total of 32 teams are entered for the men's 4x100 meters and 30 are entered in the women's equivalent. There's also 32 teams for the 4x4, 27 for women, and 30 in the mixed 4x4. Alric Swaby looks at the breakdown.
Noah Lyles, who anchored the USA to victory at last year's World Championships, featured on his country's squad in the men's 4x100 meters alongside World 200 meters leader Courtney Lindsay and Olympic silver medalist Kenny Bednarek. Olympic champion Marcel Jacobs, who featured on Italy's victorious team at the Tokyo Olympic Games and at the last World Relays, is also entered for the 4x100 meters. Jamaica and Great Britain, who joined USA on the podium at the last World Championships and Olympic Games, have fielded strong teams for the women's 4x100 meters. The men's 4x400 meters could be one of the most open races of the entire event. World and Olympic champions USA have a strong team, but Olympic 400 meters champion Stephen Gardner will represent the host nation's team. Belgium, featuring world indoor champion Alexander Doom, will be coming off the back of their victory at the World Indoor Championships, where the likes of France, Netherlands, Botswana, and Great Britain could also contend for victory. The mixed 4x400 meters is also expected to be highly competitive. Gardner and his fellow Olympic champion Shawnee Miller-Weber feature on the host nation's squad. But world record holders USA and Olympic champions Poland both have formidable teams, as do the Netherlands, Olympic silver medalist Dominican Republic, and world silver medalist Great Britain. Olympic qualifying places will be up for grabs on both days of action. On the first day, the top 2 teams in each heat will advance to the final on day 2, while also securing their qualification for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. In the finals on day 2, teams will compete for prize money and obtain Olympic lane seeding positions. All other teams will compete on day 2 in the additional round, where the top 2 teams in each heat will also qualify for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. Alric Strabe reporting for Nationwide Sports.
Thank you very much, Alric. And finally, in sports at this time, we're just about 2 days away from the 128th running of the Penn Relays at historic Franklin Field Stadium in the USA, April 25 to 27, with Jamaica's Javon Francis and Kareem Bartley among 8 athletes announced for the next Olympic development field for the men's 400 meters, a battle between the USA and the Caribbean islands loom. 6 of the 8 competitors have posted sub-45 personal best times. Francis won silver in the 4x400 meters relay at the Rio Olympic Games in 2016, and he famously anchored that Jamaica team in Moscow 2013 World Championship to silver. Bartley won silver in the 4x400 meters relay at the Eugene World Championships in 2022. And that's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:19.
Upgrade your kitchen and bathroom to the next level with Unique Living. They're the ultimate destination for all your kitchen and bathroom needs, from luxurious shower systems to exquisite faucets, vanities, sinks, toilets, closets, and more. They have it all. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call them at 876-755-3661. Elevate your space with Unique Living, where quality meets expectations.
Welcome Deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. When you're good, you're just good. Hey, had the national flavor. You gon' want to buy this bag. So good, it's just so good. Welcome Deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. National Baking Company, just so good.
Watch for Shelley Fraser Price.
I stay locked to the Olympics because, of course, I'm Jamaican. What you mean?
Me, I have to tune into the Olympics, man. Because me always busy, but what? I have to know when Sherika Jackson beat Shakari.
Brother, I have to have every notification for the Olympics. I want to hear every run.
Now Sherika Jackson coming
every jump.
Oh, that is absolutely huge of Wade Pinkham.
Every fling, live.
So, take us then.
Nothing can miss me.
We're always on the move.
So while we're driving, run, Elaine, run.
Jogging. Yes. Run, Watson. Win again.
Watson is now a world champion.
Or even at work.
Quick. The race has started.
We can't miss a beat because we keep it locked
to the only station
for the Paris Olympics.
Nationwide.
90
FM.
Nationwide 90.1, 90.3, 90.5, 90.7 and 90.9, and on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live. Nationwide, the new revolution in media.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robianne Williams. A special good evening to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you for always tuning in. We invite you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. What a week it has been already. I said it yesterday, and I will continue to say it. It's been heavy for news. I feel as though it's been really heavy for news as of late. But We're going to start our public opinion this evening, and it concerns a matter that, I feel strongly about. Chairman of the board of St. James High School, Christopher McCurdy, well, he's saying that the 2 teenage girls that were booted from St. James High School over a kiss have not been formally expelled. Now, this despite the parent of one of the girls saying the school administrators repeatedly told her to find another school for her 16-year-old daughter, 16, which means she is about in grade 10. Principal Joseph Williams reportedly expelled both girls from St. James High after one of them posted a 2-second video of them sharing a kiss on her WhatsApp status. The incident occurred in January, but McCurdy says the body has not authorized the expulsion of the girls or any other student for that matter since 2022. Now, according to the board chairman who was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday evening, Principal Williams has repeatedly circumvented the Ministry of Education's code and kicked students out without the board's approval.
The principal has not brought any action to the board to suggest that there were students who had this behavior and they are looking at expelling or suspending for the board to make a decision.
What are you saying, Mr. Chairman?
I'm saying it to you just like it is, Cliff.
So the principal, Joseph Williams, is acting entirely on his own volition. He's off on a frolic of his own without any reference to his board?
I am not here to chastise the principal on his behavior, but I'm quite certain that if one were to walk the streets of St. James, and if you were to speak to teachers and students and parents at St. James High School, you would come to your own conclusion as to his behavior and how he operates.
That is Christopher McCurdy. He's the chairman of the board of St. James High School. Interesting, real interesting. So in public opinion today, we're asking you for your views. What is your reaction to the expulsion of 2 high school girls over WhatsApp kissing video?
It's a very delicate situation, because as kids, you're not supposed to take part in a them kind of activities. First of all, in a them modern time, if a one time gone, you just hear about it and hear say can't do nothing at all. But no, there's video, so that's proof. So they do things they're not supposed to go out while in them uniform too. So anything you do while in the uniform leads to whatever the school decides. So I don't know, that one is rough.
I wasn't even aware that there was something like that happening. I need to be more abreast, alert, because I don't know what's happening.
This is serious madness, man. Serious madness. To expel a child because you saw them kissing. That's crazy. That's totally unacceptable. And we should not allow that in our society. That kids are getting kicked out of school for those trivial things. We must not allow it. And the ministry needs to reverse this decision. Decision is very poor. You can speak to them, you can reprimand, but you can't expel them. That is way overkill. That's a big overkill for probably an innocent kiss.
You saw it on a phone. You didn't see them in person, 2 female kissing. I'm not saying it is right, but I don't think it is right either to expel them. I don't think it is right to expel them. For what?
A big overkill indeed. Now, if you have been following the story from last evening up to this point, you would know that the student, the child, has been out of school for an extended period of time because of this situation. Her mother had a hard time getting her into a school following this incident, and it was last Monday or so, or was it, I'm not certain if it was last Monday or this Monday, that she got her into a private school where she had to fork out how much money that she didn't have to pay at that school. All right, but let me get to the comments on our social media platform. If you're just joining us, we're inside the court of public opinion, and the question we're putting to you, your reaction to the expulsion of 2 high school girls over WhatsApp kissing video. And if you don't know what expulsion mean, them get kicked. That's the colloquial term. Yeah, kick, them get kicked. On our Facebook platform, Edney Powell says the principal should be fired. He didn't even call the students and parents and recommend a solution, but just tell them to find next school. Is he law unto themselves? Sean Major Campbell says, if we do not address these draconian approaches exercised with impunity against our nation's children, the Judas kiss of betrayal will continue to secure the chains of injustice. The hair policy will also continue unchecked as Afro-Jamaican children are punished for their African hairstyles in schools, just on the basis of the principal's position. Nicholson KN Nicola says they will eventually get popular. By the way, if it is the same principal who being there for a few years now, he seems to be a law unto himself. Andrew Freighter says the principal didn't follow the guidelines. The kids should be reinstated and the principal sent on leave. Winston says, I am in no way condoning the action by the students, but I'm absolutely sure if it were 2 male students seen in a video kissing, they would be expelled because that's the behavior these people cherish. All right, Winston, not certain about that one, but we welcome your view, your opinion. Natalie Winter says, we live in a crazy world and our children just live what they learn. What is new? I think the issue we're taking with here is the children being expelled from school. Yeah, Fabian Smith says it's a learning lesson. Certain behavior should not be in school and then post online. They should have given a second chance still. Mark Julia says, I didn't see the video, but if the kissing is out of order, they should be disciplined, but not expelled. Some leaders need to take action with understanding and mercy. Remember, they are children and not adults, and he's questioning, is kissing a crime? Musical Component says they shouldn't be expelled. And questioning also if it was 2 boys. Prince Wellington says, wrong decision. One politician get called out for trouble. Not a peep out of society about it. One next. Okay, I won't say that one. All right, so I'll just say that misguided. The 2 girls, the decision to act is misguided, and the way of punishment is expulsion. He's saying that it's a wrong decision because due process wasn't followed at all. That's coming from Prince Wellington. Christopher Isaacs believes that in the streets you have the dons and in the schools there are principals. He's telling us to choose one. Well, oh boy. Philip Jackson says rubbish. They should be scolded and be reprimanded and be warned and be disciplined for bringing the school into disrepute. Okay. Education look to be even short on the part of the very educator. Would you look at that? Quickly on our Instagram platform, Willie Ryan Wilson says the principal had no authority to expel students without the board's approval. In fact, what they did does not warrant expulsion. Clearly, there are issues with him and the board, and that right there is a problem. And he's saying get the students back in school. I agree. At no time, I think we should kick the students. There are solutions. Jet Slate says they should not have been expelled. And Elizabeth is saying, does this merit being expelled? No. Children kiss all the time. Schools could be empty soon. Is it because they're girls? I cannot put my head around this one. And Padworthy says, how is that any of our business? And he believes that it's a retrograde step. If you're just joining us, we're inside the court of public opinion. What is your reaction to the expulsion of 2 high school girls over a WhatsApp kissing video? To the comments now on our YouTube platform. Let me see if I can get in some appropriate ones from our YouTubers. Let me see if I can get in someone. Allow me to scroll. All right, allow me to scroll so I can find some appropriate ones from our YouTubers. All right. Lance Vassal says principal. No, okay. All right. Let me see if I can get appropriate ones. Please bear with me. Lisa Headley says, don't worry, we soon become as those schools in the land of the free. All right. Let me see if I can get in some ones. All right, you're talking about something else. MS says, if these girls were some of your children, you would see things differently. Sometimes you must put yourself in the other person's shoe. Some of you did worse in your school days, and an expulsion is, you were saying, an expulsion is drastic. MS, that's what you're saying. Rebecca says, maybe the principal took that course of action to minimize the backlash to the school's reputation and to the girls themselves. I don't know, Rebecca. I don't know. Paul Peart says, Lord G, give me a break. Oh, you're referring to somebody, Paul Peart. But good evening to our YouTubers. Let me see if I can scroll and look for some appropriate comments. Because we YouTubers, them no normal, you know. YouTubers, them no normal. Juliet Sanchez says suspension would have been more appropriate, not expulsion. Indeed. All right, let me see if I can get in some more. Dr. Scar says the girls should have been suspended, not expelled. Principal Williams should be reprimanded for overstepping his bounds. All right. Don't come at me, YouTubers. Best believe I'm searching for some appropriate comments on this one, you know. Leroy Rotty says, Principal, send them home. Okay, no, Leroy Rotty. All right. Thank you guys so much for participating in the public opinion. Our YouTubers, every day, come with something. And I appreciate your responses and your views. Just keep them appropriate. May I beg you, please. Come, I don't want to really say nothing too outrageous. Thank you guys so much for participating in public opinion. That's all the time we have. Do stay tuned for the business report.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Annual eye examinations not only assess your vision but may be life-saving. Eye tests may detect serious health issues that go beyond your vision. Call IQ Optical to schedule your comprehensive eye test today.
The temperature by IQ Optical is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston and also in Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Now, as the U.S. Senate prepares to approve a TikTok ban, the FBI chief on Tuesday underlined security concerns about the popular Chinese-owned app. FBI Director Christopher Wray said that TikTok parent company ByteDance is beholden to the Chinese government, which is attempting to steal the country's AI and hack into technology every day. Now, Wray echoed concerns that TikTok poses a threat to U.S. national security. TikTok has adamantly denied sharing any user information with the Chinese government. The U.S. Senate could vote on a major aid package for Ukraine in legislation that also sets the stage to ban video snippet sharing app TikTok. In other news, Australia's leader has called Elon Musk an arrogant billionaire in an escalating feud over X's reluctance to remove footage of a church stabbing. On Monday, an Australian court ordered Mr. Musk's social media firm, formerly called Twitter, to hide videos of last week's attack in Sydney. X previously said it would comply, pending a legal challenge. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's criticism followed Mr. Musk using a meme to accuse his government of censorship. On Tuesday, Mr. Albanese told ABC News that Mr. Musk thinks he's above the law, but also above common decency. And finally, in the currency markets, at the close of trading today, it cost 156 Jamaican dollars and 75 cents to buy $1, 193 Jamaican dollars and 44 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 114 Jamaican dollars and 64 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. And that's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
Call me shrewd. I am getting in when the markets are attractively priced.
Call me smart. I am getting set to capitalize when the markets have increased potential. Call me savvy. I have a mix of wise investments, so I'm earning no matter the season.
They're all investing in Sagicor Investments Sigma Global Funds, like our US dollar Sigma Global Equity and Sigma Real Growth. Never settle for less than your dreams. Start investing now in Sigma Global Funds. Call 888-SAGICOR to speak with a Sagicor Investments Wealth Advisor. Conditions apply.
A mother's journey of love shared from generation to generation gives her the ultimate relaxation and escape to Adam and Eve Day Spa and Salon for a mommy-made new experience. Book now at www.adamandevespaja.com. Purchase gift certificates or call 876-754-6017. Get mom the perfect gift of love. This Mother's Day, let Team Adam and Eve take her on a spa journey. She deserves it.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
1, 2, 3, they're gonna run back to me.
They say all good things come to an end. Some things end before they come good. And when it's over, and everything good for talk. The memories are supposed to mean a makeup doesn't happen after a breakup. But not every time it done means it really done. What's the point of fixing things you said couldn't work after the fact? How easy is it to make it better the second time around? I guess some things come easy, but that too can be a problem. Or is it just ego that makes a partner want to try again to prove a point? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic: if you left because you're vexed, why would you go back to your ex?
1, 2, 3, they're gonna run back to me. They always wanna come, but they never wanna leave.
Brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM.
Is that really clip you starting?
Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also, tune in to the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Benjamin. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Was Clip News really talking like that?
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
How certain are you that you're taking proper care of your pets? How often do you take them to the vet? Just as we need annual checkups with our doctors, most pets need regular checkups too. Owning and caring for a family pet doesn't have to be a difficult or burdensome experience. Nationwide 90 FM has an exciting feature called Pets World that will help you take better care of your pets. Join Nationwide 90 FM every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning as we take you into the do's and don'ts of caring for your pets. That's Pets World every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Chewy flavor with delight. It really, really nice. May I say it twice?
The time by Jamaica Mountain Peak Golden Turmeric Latte is
6:41.
Good afternoon, good evening rather. It is now time for the nation's business, and I'm Siobhan Campbell. I'll be joined later by Mr. Cliff Hughes. Well, we're getting right into it. House Speaker Juliet Holness has yielded to public pressure and tabled the Attorney General's opinion regarding the handling of reports from the Integrity Commission and the Auditor General. Mrs. Holness tabled the documents this afternoon.
I have caused to lay on the table of Parliament the advice of the Attorney General as well as the advice of the Legislative Council for Parliament, which formed part of my review and consideration regarding the process to be engaged when tabling reports of the Auditor General in respect of public bodies. I have also laid on the table the opinions as it relates to the Integrity Commission. This does not in any way set precedents for the tabling of legal advice given to the Speaker in the future. However, as Speaker, my ultimate duty is to ensure clarity and full understanding by the Jamaican people in public affairs.
That's House Speaker Juliet Holness. She had previously refused to share the opinions that informed her ruling on how reports from the Integrity Commission and Auditor General should be handled. In the case of the Auditor General, Mrs. Holness ruled that reports relating to public bodies must first be sent to the Minister with portfolio responsibility. However, on Tuesday, Mrs. Holness backed away from this position. She says she'll continue to table the reports using the previously established parliamentary convention. To react to this latest update, we're being joined by public commentator Carol Narcisse and chartered accountant Dennis Chung. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening to you. Good evening, Dennis. Good evening.
Hi, Carol.
Hi.
Good evening to you both. Starting with you, Madam Narcisse, what do you make of the change in tone by the House Speaker this afternoon?
So it's an appropriate change in tone, given that the country has been subjected to a wholly unnecessary change of course from what had been both law and convention. The change of course being that the Speaker, despite advice from the attorney's chamber that advises government on matters of law, despite that advice, despite the concerns and questions raised by members of the opposition, despite concerns and questions raised by members of the public and by organizations made up of members of the public, otherwise known as civil society organizations, despite those questions and concerns, the speakers, the former and the current, proceeded on a path that veered dramatically from what they were advised by the Attorney General and what they ought to have read and understood in the respective laws that exist.
But, Madam Narcisse, I have the Attorney General's opinion. You said that the Speaker veered from that opinion. I don't know if that is particularly correct. Because
it is. May I tell you what section of the Attorney General's advice under the signature of the Solicitor General?
Yes.
The very first top paragraph of the letter stated the conclusion, and the conclusion was the Auditor General is able under Section 29 to submit audits, annual reports, and special reports.
No,
right?
Correction, not audits. It just says
no,
annual reports
right.
and special
annual,
reports.
Precisely. But, right. Okay. So special reports are reports of audits of particular kinds. Audit does not only relate to financial audit. I can come in and audit an institution's and an agency and a ministry's procedures for documenting assets, procedures for contracting, etc. Those are audits as well. Okay? So I think one of the mistakes, perhaps, I don't know if it is a mistake to be attributed to the Speaker, but it is certainly one of the mistakes in the general public, which is to think that when the word audit is used, it is only referring to a financial audit, audit of accounts. It is not. Any forensic process that examines processes, procedures, resources, utilization of those resources, contracts like, the leases, for example, that the tax authority has entered into, right?
So those would constitute audits.
Yes, they are. They are types of audits.
Noting that, though, the House Speaker seems to have come to that same conclusion that you made, and I should say the former House Speaker, Marissa Dalrymple-Filbert, came to what you just said, and she sought further clarification on August 2, 2023.
Right, but here's
in reference specifically to... No, let me finish, though, Madam Narcisse. Madam Narcisse, please allow me to finish, and then I'll give you a chance.
Wait a minute.
But, Madam Narcisse, I was talking. Please allow me to finish, and then I will give you your due time to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is also for the public record. So on August 2, 2023, the former House Speaker, that is Marissa Dalrymple-Filbert, in reference specifically to part 1 of your summary of conclusion, this is in reference to the Attorney General's opinion, which states the Auditor General has the discretion to submit reports under either Section 29 or 30 of the Act. Please direct me to the section of the FAA Act, any other law or case law that indicates that the Auditor General has the discretion to audit a public body under any other section other than Section 30 of the FAA Act. And Section 30 of the FAA Act, according to those who for those who aren't familiar with the thing, says that it must first be submitted to the portfolio minister before being tabling.
That's if they are audits under Section 30.
Yes. No, let me continue because this doesn't end there.
It's very important for the public.
Yeah, and I will give you your due consideration, Madam Narcisse.
If they are under 29, they are to be tabled as soon as possible. And
yes, Madam Narcisse, but please allow me to
wait a minute.
Finish because it goes on.
Wait a minute. It's very important. What the speakers ruled was that all reports, barring except the annual report, all other reports were to be sent to ministers, and that's where the error was.
That's not accurate, though. The House Speaker's ruling was that audits of public bodies, not all reports.
Whether they are public bodies, because the laws empower the Auditor General to
no, but we have to be clarifying what you now said, Madam Narcisse. But you suggested that the House Speaker said that all reports. No, she said that reports considering public bodies must first be sent to the minister.
Yes, and that's all reports related to public bodies are to be sent to ministers, and that's where the error was.
But
because only the reports under Section 30,
which relate to public bodies,
they should go to the minister first.
Which relate to public bodies, audits of public bodies,
audits of accounts,
audits of public bodies.
Of audits of accounts. It's important you help the public to make that distinction.
Okay, well, continuing the ruling.
Not special audits of public bodies, which the Auditor General has the power to do. Okay? The Auditor General has the power under law.
So in seeking the clarification,
special audits of public bodies.
Madam Narcisse, in seeking the clarification from the Attorney General then wrote to the former House Speaker and said, there are a few statutes that establish public bodies that provide for the Auditor General to audit those public bodies, not special audits, not anything specific, just audit those public bodies. And I have set out below a few examples, and she points to Section 13, Section 13A of the Public Bodies Management and Accountability Act provide as follows. 1. Notwithstanding anything to the contrary contained in any other enactment, the Auditor General may, if he thinks fit, audit the accounts of any public body and shall do so if the House of Representatives by resolution so directs.
Audit
the Auditor
accounts.
General's report on
Note
his
that.
examination and audit of any accounts audited pursuant to subsection 1 shall be submitted to the responsible minister for
Right.
presentation,
Those are
subject
audits
to
of
the
accounts.
requirements of subsection 3A to the House of Representatives.
Those are audits of accounts.
The requirements
not
of this
special audits.
subsection are that the responsible minister shall obtain observations of the public body concerned on any matter to which attention has been drawn by the Auditor General in his report, and cause such observations to be presented to the House of Representatives together with the report.
Right. So for your listeners' benefit, are you clear that what you have read is in reference to audits of accounts, not special audits which can be done of public bodies?
But, Madam Narcis, on section 29, it says that only special reports and annual reports, not special audits. It doesn't say anything
Special
about
reports,
audits.
but I've just established with you that a special report is a report of audits of a kind that are not accounts audits. They are reports of audits of other types of processes of the ministries, departments, and agencies. As so comes we get to know that tax authority has leased properties that they can't move into yet. Those are not audits of accounts that have told us that. Those are special audits.
Okay. And Dennis,
Okay.
your opinion?
What, Siobhan?
Your opinion, Dennis.
I tend to have a different view. I think that it is clear a special report and an annual report does not necessarily constitute an audit. It can, all reports have an opinion, but I suspect that when they refer to an audit of a public body, they're referring to the normal annual audit that takes place, just like an external audit of a company. The reason why I think they make that distinction between a special report and an annual report and an audit is because
of accounts.
Right. An audit actually carries with it a greater weight in terms of what is being looked at, because you're looking at transactions and you're testing them. You do what we call in auditing substantive testing, and therefore I think if what the speaker was referring to when she said reports on public bodies, which I suspect is under Section 30, then it would be referring to those reports. And I think it would only be equitable and fair that if you do a report as per under Section 30, which refers to audit of public bodies, whatever it is, right?
No, it's not. Whatever it is, the law is specific. Audits of accounts.
Well, I don't think the law says audit of accounts.
It
doesn't
does.
say. It does.
It
not
does.
say.
The notation in the column says Section 30. In the column, it says audits of accounts.
Right, the report on a public body, but I was talking specifically about Section 29. I don't think it says special audit in it.
No,
right?
it simply says A, annual reports, B, special
and B,
reports.
special report.
Right.
So when you're referring to, Carol, let me just finish.
No, I'm sorry, Dennis. Please do go ahead.
When you're referring to a report, when you're referring to an audit, you would normally refer to it as an audit. Right? When you're referring to a report, then you refer to it separately. And therefore,
and just to back up your point, Dennis, because the two documents last submitted by the Auditor General said special audits.
Right.
And that was for the Financial Services Commission and the Tax Administration of Jamaica.
Precisely, because her special reports are types of audits. They are special audits, not audits of accounts, which are very specific.
Yeah.
And the Auditor General is a creature of the laws that govern it. And so I would be willing to bet whether it submits directly to Parliament the audits of accounts before it sends them to ministers.
All right, so can I finish?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So I would think, right, in terms of talking about natural justice and fairness, that when you do a report on a public body, right, that you want to send it to them for comment first. Just like
an audit of accounts.
Come on, Carol, can I finish,
Mrs.
please?
Narcisse, please.
Come on, man.
Because it's an important
Mrs. Narcisse,
distinction.
no, Mrs. Narcisse.
Because we're
You have had
conflating special audits and
Mrs.
audits of
Narcisse,
accounts.
Mrs. Narcisse, you will get your time as you have.
I just asked
Please,
that we always use the
No,
legal term.
Mrs. Narcisse. No, Mrs. Narcisse. Mr. Chung has the floor. Go ahead,
Thank
Dennis.
you. Yeah, so I'm thinking that the reason why they make the distinction between Section 29 and Section 30, and the reason why the Speaker would have said that is because you want to give the public body the right to comment first, right? Because if you just send a report, which we have seen in the past, that reports are just sent to Parliament.
Non-audits of accounts.
Mrs. Narcisse.
Come on, man.
I'm just...
No, quiet, please. Quiet, please. Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, if you just send a report directly to Parliament, right, and it actually is dealing with a report on a public body, then without giving them the chance to respond, right, then you might not be giving them a fair chance to defend the point, just like what external auditors do. And I know the Auditor General always does that, right, when they're doing reports on public bodies, right, having been at public bodies. So I think that's a distinction. Now, it will be important to understand the definition of special report and annual report and the reports mentioned under Section 30, because that is where the distinction is. Clear, however, that I don't think that the Auditor General has a discretion as to where to put a report, right? It depends on the classification of the report, and I would suspect also that a special report and an annual report, as opposed to a report on a public body, actually is originating from different sources, and I think that is the distinction. But I would think that, based on what the Speaker said, I would think that she would have been correct in that approach.
Dennis, let me ask.
May I ask?
Before we'll go to you shortly, Madam Narcisse, but before that, I need to ask you, Minister Chung, in further of Madam Narcisse's point regarding the audit of an account, what would you consider or assume to be the audit of a public body's account?
The audit of a public body's account would be a normal, comprehensive audit of the entire organization, right? So you go in and you're going to pass an opinion on the accounting record. You can't audit a part of an organization and then pass an opinion on the entire organization, right? And there's a difference with a special report. A special report might zero in on a particular thing, which it could find positive or negative, but it does not. Just finding that individual item, either positive or negative, does not reflect on the whole, and that would be the difference. So the audit of accounts, it looks at the entire organization, as opposed to a special report, which might just say, well, I suspect that there's a problem in the receivables. Can you check that for me? Just focus on receivables, but you don't look at anything else. And remember this, when you talk about accounting records, everything is related. So you can, if you see something in receivables, for example, it does not mean that there is a blot on the entire organization. It could be a misclassification, for example, in payables, which is why an entire audit gives you a better view.
No, Madam Narcisse, you want to comment?
Yes, I want to ask a question. The reports that were returned to the Auditor General, the most recent set that had been returned, and about which the Speaker was publicly, the Clerk was publicly upbraided in a manner we've never seen before. Were those audits of accounts or special audits?
It said special audit report from the Financial Service Commission and special audit report on tax administration of Jamaica.
And they were returned to the Auditor General instead of being tabled, based on what What ruling? What made that possible?
They were based on the Speaker's November, I'm not sure the exact date in November, but a November 2023 ruling.
And was it correct to have sent those back now that we are privy to the Attorney General?
Well, it says
Chambers
it says a recommendation from the Attorney General, page 2 of that November 6, 2023 letter. It says if the Speaker receives a report from the Auditor General and it is not clear whether the Auditor General has acted under Section 29 or 30 of the Act, the Speaker should make an inquiry of the Auditor General to clarify the issue. When the Auditor General provides that clarification, the Speaker should act accordingly.
Right. Now, when you read any such reports of the Auditor General or the Integrity Commission, because these two entities are governed and they try to adhere strictly to the laws that govern them, their reports usually quote what section they are making a report under. It would be a rare and almost impossible occurrence for you to find a report of an Auditor General that did not quote what section they were reporting under and what section of what law gave them authority to conduct the special review and special audit and special report. So it has not ever been a mystery as to which part or which law they submit reports under. And so that could not have been the mischief by which the Speaker ruled that all such reports are to be dispatched forthwith, returned to the Auditor General, and to be sent for them to send to ministers first. And that, gentlemen and listeners, is the gravamen of the problem, the problem and what I would describe as an unforced error that has occurred, that has caused confusion, has made it unclear in the public's mind what the authority of the Auditor General is, has resulted in upbraiding of a clerk in a manner and about a concern that had no foundation in law, because the reports that the person was being upbraided about were not audits of accounts. They were special reports.
So if the House Speaker so believes that the reports aren't tabled under the right section, and she believes...
It's not believe. The reports always state what section and what
No, but
law.
I'm not suggesting that that is not what the reports say. I'm saying, what if the Speaker believes in her understanding of a ruling or an opinion of the FFA Act that the Auditor General has submitted the document under the wrong section? Wouldn't she then report to the Auditor General that she believes that the reports have been sent under the wrong section and call for the Auditor General to submit them under the proper section, or what she believes to be the proper section?
Did you see any such thing occurring? Or did you
I don't have the documentation from Parliament to say otherwise.
Holding? No. But look here. We have to be very, very, very true to what transpired. What we saw was that special reports under the instruction of the Speaker were being required to be returned. That's what we saw. And that was despite the Attorney General advising that special reports are to be treated per the law, Section 29, and per the convention, which is tabled as soon as possible. If you're saying to me that the Speaker, without reading the reports and seeing that the sections are quoted in the reports, and that wouldn't make any sense.
But I can't suggest that the Speaker did not read the report. I'm sure she read the report and then said, well, I can't say what she said, but what if she had read the report and believes that this has not been tabled under the right document?
In ruling that all the reports should go to ministers and be sent
not
back
all the reports, specific reports, Madam Narcisse.
To require that special reports be returned to the office of the Auditor General when they were special reports, Wrong. Wrong.
That
and
is?
the Attorney General told our speakers that only certain kinds go to ministers, right? That's what the law say.
Yeah, but that was the Speaker's ruling that only specific reports on public bodies must go to the ministers.
What?
She said only reports on public bodies should go to the ministers. She never gave a
But that's
blanket
not what the law,
statement.
No, the law. First, you see what the problem is? The problem is that we are, perhaps, and maybe the Speaker as well, we are believing that the Auditor General has no authority to do special reports and audits of public bodies. That's what we seem to be believing. That anything that the Auditor General does must, in relation to public bodies, must only be audits of their accounts, receivables, and all of these things. That's where the error is, you know. The Auditor General, per the Constitution of Jamaica and per the FAA Act, right, can audit any public institution. And
no one is denying that.
That the Auditor General has that power. Because they have that power, we, the public, are apprised of whether the stewardship of our resources is occurring as it should. And we are apprised of problems, weaknesses, etc., that need to be fixed. And it's not only in terms of the dollars and cents types of audits.
But no one is denying the Auditor General that power. Is that what you're suggesting?
But the Speaker's ruling created a situation where important reports were being sent back to the Auditor General and delaying their tabling when they were supposed to be tabled in as soon as possible.
Okay. Dennis, you want to come in? Go ahead.
Yeah. So here's my view. I mean, I'm putting myself in the shoes of the Speaker, and I think I would have taken the same approach. And let me tell you why. I am not going to assume that anyone submitting a report is infallible and cannot make a mistake. And therefore, if something comes to my desk, I think as a Speaker, one of my main priorities is to protect the integrity of the House. And therefore, information that comes to the House, the Speaker has the obligation, I think, to question it if they think it is a legitimate question. And I think that if I was sitting in that chair and I saw a report come that seems to say something that I suspect might need the comment from the minister or the public body, then I'm going to send it back to them and say, listen, this is a report that has come. What is your view on it? And
would that included a special report?
It doesn't matter, right?
Oh,
if I delay by a week and I can get closer to the truth, then I think it would be justified. And that's why when the point was made, I supported it, because what do we want? Do we want to follow the letter to the T, irrespective of whether the truth comes out or not, or do we want to find out what the real situation is? Is that what
given the experience we have had the actions of the Speaker resulted in finding out the true situation we would not have found out had the reports been tabled in January when they were sent instead of April here?
No,
did it add anything to the report?
You can't argue about the timeline.
Did it add any clarifications, Dennis?
Well, it obviously it added some clarification in the mind of the Speaker who is looking at it. I mean, I would want to get the comment. I would want to comment. I would want to get the comment of the person who is being accused of something. Isn't that what you would want?
That is not the role of the Speaker as set out in the law. That's not the rule. This is what is not understood. The Speaker is taking onto themselves roles that are not theirs under the law.
Well, it's a question of what you really want.
So if there are parliamentarians and they would like to change the law, which is what the Parliamentary Council had advised, if you wish to change the standing orders or so, the Parliament, the Speaker and the whole House of Parliament may do so.
Which is what the House Speaker said today, that in light of what has been brought, it might be best if this goes to the House to make clear beyond a reasonable doubt.
And why would that not have been your approach when you were advised by the Parliamentary Council?
But at the time when she made her ruling, she had said the exact same thing.
Further to the advice of the Attorney General, further to that advice, you went and sought from the Parliamentary Council. And the Parliamentary Council also said to you, Madam Speaker, if you want to change something, the way it goes is that it is you and the whole House. That is how it's supposed to go.
But at the time when this initially came up in November, she had said, let us bring this to the Standing Orders Committee and let us set out clear or irrefutable measures as to how these things should be managed. That is what she said at the time.
Irrefutable and clear. If you have a problem with the law, then come with amendments to the law.
But that is what she had suggested to be done.
Types of reports. Look here. The question becomes, are we aiming in a direction for greater and greater transparency, or are we heading in a direction for less and less, for longer and longer periods between which we are able to get at information that the public needs to be able to judge the quality of governance of its affairs by public organization?
Ms. Narcisse?
Which way are we heading?
But can you get transparency or proper governance with inaccurate information?
Where did you see inaccurate information? Could you please quote which report of the Auditor General had inaccurate information?
I am saying that in the judgment of someone, a report coming to them and they're not sure.
No,
right?
man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting an angry wrap-up signal because we're 13 minutes well over time.
No, Dennis, that would put the country in serious danger. If a speaker's opinion about an Auditor General's report is what will determine whether that Auditor General report gets tabled as soon as possible, as the law says, or gets delayed for 3 months, 4 months.
Dennis, Carol, I'm sorry. We're way past time. I apologize. We'll have to pick this up at another time.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's Carol Narcisse, public commentator, and Dennis Chung, chartered accountant. Clearly, still a very controversial issue. We'll have to pick this up later. We'll have Nature's Remedies after this.
When I grow up, I'm going to be a famous gamer with viral videos all over the internet. I'm going to be rich. Good thing I'll already know how to take care of my money since Mommy got me this Sure Start account.
Open a CIBC Caribbean Sure Start account for your kids and give them a head start on financial smarts with a $1,200 sign-up bonus from us. We believe in their dreams as much as you do, so let's get them going together. Start young, start strong with Sure Start from CIBC.
Whether it's a heartfelt eulogy, an inspiring tribute, or a remembrance, place your ads in the Life Tribute section of the Jamaica Observer to remember the extraordinary individuals who have left their mark on this world. The Life Tribute section allows you to share stories, commemorate your loved ones, and keep their memory alive. Find solace in the power of remembrance. Together, we can keep their spirit alive. Book with the Jamaica Observer today. Contact 876-936-9504 for more details.
Relax in air-conditioned comfort with Geddes Refrigeration Limited. Stay cool all year round with top brands like Lennox, Dunham, Bush, and their Glacier line. Don't worry about installation because GRL has you covered with excellent installers. Email grljasocialmedia@gmail.com or call 876-923-652-123 to enjoy the ultimate cool experience. Visit them at 226 Spanish Town Road, Kingston 11. Stay cool with Geddes Refrigeration Limited.
welcome deluxe. The cream cracker that rises to the top.
So crisp, so light, so buttery.
When you're good, you're just good.
Hey,
Had the national flavor. You go off and buy this pack.
so good, it's just so good. Welcome deluxe. The cream cracker that rises to the top.
So crisp, so light, so buttery.
National Baking Company. Just so good.
Call me shrewd. I am getting in when the markets are attractively priced.
Call me smart. I am getting set to capitalize when the markets have increased potential. Call me savvy. I have a mix of wise investments, so I'm earning no matter the season.
They're all investing in Sagicor Investments Sigma Global Funds. Like our US dollar Sigma Global Equity and Sigma Real Growth. Never settle for less than your dreams. Start investing now in Sigma Global Funds. Call 888 Sagicor to speak with a Sagicor Investments Wealth Advisor. Conditions apply.
Good God of mercy, hey. Good God of grace, hey. Lord of mercy, hey.
16 minutes after 7 o'clock, and let me apologize for the late start of Nature's Remedies. Good evening, I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Well, Nature's Remedies, a program to make you aware of the uses of natural herbs, and we have an abundance of them in Jamaica. This evening we'll be talking about the neem tree and some of its uses. As usual, we'll be opening the line so you can call in with your questions or queries for our resident pharmacognosist, Dr. Denise Daly. Good evening, Dr. Daly.
Good evening, and good. How are you guys doing today?
Well,
it's been a day.
It's been a day and a half.
Yes, it has.
Mm-hmm.
But we give thanks, and let's hear what nature has in store for us.
Absolutely. The neem tree, famous tree, has a huge reputation. Tell us, what are its uses?
All right, I want to quickly ask, do you know the neem tree? Can you say that's a neem tree?
I have one in my yard.
All right, that's great. And Siobhan?
Well, I wouldn't have been able to say that's a neem tree, but looking at the picture of the neem tree, I can say, yes, I know what the neem tree is.
All right, good. So now, there are so many common names for the neem tree. We have it all over Jamaica, and it's a plant that's native to India. You can find it in other countries within Asia, like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, etc. They call it the village pharmacy.
Oh, the village pharmacy.
Village pharmacy, or the divine tree. Exactly. It says a lot. But the neem tree is one of the most underutilized medicinal plants in Jamaica and in the Caribbean. Grossly underutilized, and with so many of its uses medicinally, we need to start using it. So many parts of the island, so many houses have one neem tree, and that one tree can help with so many ailments. All right, so the family that it's in the mahogany family, Meliaceae, and it has uses for antioxidant properties. And we'll go through the leaf, the flowers, the seed, the bark, the twig, the root, all parts of the plant. The active components in the neem is nimbin and your nimbolides. Now, these components have shown significant properties and why the plant is so versatile in its use. In fact, it was the azadirachtin, similar to the scientific name of neem, azadirachtin indica. It's a long name, and it shows the origin of the plant. Now, that isolation proved the antifungal properties of neem and the antibacterial properties of neem. Now, when you talk about the leaves is significantly used. We can make it as tea. And if you want to make some neem tea from your tree, you just pick one of the leaves. The leaves are pinnate, so it reminds you, or it looks like the June plum leaf somewhat.
Yes.
You have that leaf stalk, then you have the tiny leaflets on it. So you can pick one and make some tea. If you want to just chew a few of the leaves, 2 to 3 leaves, keeps the doctor away. That's what they say in India. That's part of their routine as well. Just bring 2 to 3 of those leaflets, the small ones, helps to keep the doctor away.
And do you chew 2 or 3 of those every day?
2 or 3 every day.
In a bitter?
It is very bitter. But they always say bitter is good. Look past the bitterness. It's working on your liver.
Oh.
Yes, it is. No, Neem came to Jamaica as a part of the forestry program, and because we're out of many one people, it's originated in India. Now,
So
for
it's
the
not
forestry
native to the
program,
island.
it's not native to the island, but we have it as a part of our reforestation program. And worldwide, it has been used for that aspect. In fact, there was a research done in Africa where they planted neem as their reforestation program, and it was one of the cheapest program ever recorded to date of planting a medicinal plant or a plant overall. So it's one of the cheapest program, and it proved versatile. Why did they choose it? It grows quickly. It's a vigorous plant. You don't need a lot of tending. It doesn't need a lot of nutrients in the soil to be productive. And then you can use the wood for furniture, bark, for any purposes. And it is also good with soil erosion. So we introduced it. We also have it come as a part of our history. And today we need to utilize it more for its medicinal properties. We can use neem as a mouthwash. So if you get the twigs, so I'm going to talk about toothpaste and toothbrush, neem. So you can use the twigs as a toothbrush. So it's very antibacterial. It helps with gum disease, bad breath, gingivitis, you name it, it is very good for that. So you can get the twigs, use it as a toothbrush. You can also use the leaves as a mouthwash. You can make your own mouthwash, or you can infuse some of the tea to make a mouthwash. And to do that, you get a few of your neem leaves, you make some tea, make a tea from it, and then you can add some activated charcoal. Well, if you're making toothpaste, rather, if you're making toothpaste, you can have activated charcoal, some neem powder, a little baking soda, make a nice paste, and that can be very good for the mouth, for your oral health. So it helps to prevent all the bad breath, gum disease, strengthen the gums as well, because it has a lot of vitamin C, and it helps to keep the decay away. All right. So that is one of the ways we can make something from our neem leaves. Now, I've mentioned before that neem is very insecticidal. It is a natural pesticide. So when we have any aphids or the spider mites or any of those insects attacking our crops, we can also prepare a nice neem spray, insecticide for them. A lot of insects stay away from neem because just the chemical alone in the natural plant itself is a repellent.
So it is often used as a mosquito repellent.
As well, yes. Mosquito repellent, lizard repellent, spider, you name it. So if you have those little aphids on your plants, whether it's in the farm or indoor, you can get some neem oil, get a little dish soap, add it to some water, and you can add a little fragrance to it, whether it's peppermint or rosemary or some rose, whichever fragrance you'd like, shake it and spray it onto your plants. And you continue doing that, and you eventually get rid of those little insects from your plant. That was one of the first research that proved its insecticidal properties. And that was done in 1928. Just spraying it onto plants, and it was able to get rid of some of the pests, locusts, in that research. So neem oil, have you ever used neem oil? Do you know how it smells?
No, not at all.
No, you should try some neem oil. So you could get some neem oil. It smells really bad. It's a thick brown oil, and it's very viscous. So when you pour it, it's very thick. However, it's very medicinal. It smells really bad, but it is very medicinal. It is very good for the skin. And many of the products that I make, so I have a neem oil that I formulated, a neem skin and scalp oil. It's very good for dandruff. It's very good for itchy scalp. If you have hair bumps, men, when you shave, it helps with that. And that's because of the azadirachtin in the neem oil. It's the highest concentration in the neem oil. And that helps to kill one of the fungus that helps to carry out or to build up dandruff. Because the M fungus, I'll remember the name in a few. the Macelaceae fungus. It feeds on the natural oils that we have, and as such, it causes that irritation and the flaking and the dry scalp. Neem eradicates it. And having the neem oil as a part of your hair routine, that will help. Now, if you can't tolerate the smell, Nasuri has an oil for that, but you can also make your own hair treatment. Get the oil, massage the scalp in it with it, wash your hair, and then you can go on. Or you can just make a hair wash.
How do you extract the oil from it?
From the seed, you'd have to do a pounding method. We call it, you can do a cold press or a hot press. You get the seeds and you crush it, similar to how you do your castor oil seeds, and then you can extract the seeds. Now, if you're at home, it might be a little tedious. So I would say you'd crush the seeds, add it to some coconut oil or some of the oil that you have at home, and that oil will pull the remaining oils from the seed as much as possible. You can also add some leaves, crush their leaves and add it to the oil of your choice. Coconut oil, olive oil, sweet almond, any oil or oil mix, and then you can pull out the properties. You can just shake it every now and then, leaving it on your counter or in a dark cupboard, or you can apply a little bit of heat to just get the oil color to change, and then you can have your neem oil at your disposal.
And is the oil itself edible?
The oil is edible, but in small doses because it tastes bad and it's very strong. So for babies, they usually put it on the tongue when they are sick, like with colic or any digestive issues. In India, that's part of their routine. They'll pick the leaves, they'll fan the babies, they'll rub the oil on their skin if there are any rashes. It's a part of so many of the ceremonies in Asia. Whether it's a funeral ceremony, a wedding ceremony, it's one of the plants that they want to help clear the area and to have clean air being present.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Doc.
So there's always a thin line between medicine and toxin, and neem is one of those plants that it has a high concentration of its active components. So if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you should avoid taking neem. If you are planning to get pregnant or you're on a fertility routine, you should also avoid taking neem. And you also want to ensure that if you're chewing the leaves, 2 to 3, you can have that every day. If you're making a tea from some of the capsules, please follow the instruction on the container. And if you're making your own, it's half a teaspoon to 1 cup of water because it's very strong. And you want to take that 2 to 3 times a day, and then you rest for the other remaining days of the week.
Okay.
It is also very good as a contraceptive, and we can talk about that soon.
Oh, well, we have our first call on the line for you, Dr. Denise Daly. Suzanne?
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My question, Doctor, my question is, what herbs can be used to maintain a healthy thyroid function? In this case, the thyroid test that I did has enlarged nodules. Also, do you see persons off air?
Yes. So you can send me an email at drdenisedaily@gmail.com, and then we can go through, we call it a wellness training, wellness coaching, and a wellness regime. So with that, we can look at your overall diet, your overall life. What are some of the herbal teas, herbal tinctures that would promote a personalized wellness package? So yes, Dr. DRDENISE Daily.
Dr. Denise Daily
at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Okay.
And to your first question about thyroid health?
Right. What can be used to maintain a healthy thyroid function? And what herbs can be used to maintain a healthy thyroid function?
Yes. The first herb I would recommend is moringa, because it is
moringa,
the moringa leaf. especially, right?
Yes.
So get some moringa leaf tea, and you can have that every day with some mint or some ginger. So you can make that mint. It helps with thyroid, not only because of the phytochemical, but it also provides minerals that the thyroid needs for its overall function, to produce its hormones and to send it to the blood. So moringa has that multivitamin effect, and it also has the medicinal, the phytochemicals in it. And it's safe to use every day. So that can help to improve. There are other herbs that we can also look at.
Eat the leaves?
You can eat the leaves, or you can make the tea, or you can make some drink. Or you can eat the powder, or make a capsule, or a tablet, or a paste. I don't know if you could make a paste. If you ever made a paste. The paste is basically getting the powder, wetting it with some water to get it thick, and then you rub it in to make some balls, and you can have those little balls every day as a vitamin.
Okay.
The powder is it's one of those herbs. As a powder, it doesn't taste good, but it's very medicinal. As a tea, it's bland, so you can add flavors to it. Basil is a good herb to add to it as well. And soaking the powder in honey, like you have a jar of honey, add some moringa, shake it, have a tablespoon in the morning, etc. That can also help to give you the moringa per day.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So you have your answer?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And we're taking calls now for Dr. Denise Daly. The numbers to call us, 876-3093-7124. That's 630-93-7124 or 618-8255. Give us a call. We're talking about the Neem, yes, and its multiplicity of uses. All right? Give us a call.
Come off a tour and me feel weak. So me go a walk road and go link fever.
Watch for Shelley and Fraser Price. I stay locked to the Olympics because, of course, I'm Jamaican. What you mean?
Me, I have to tune into the Olympics, man. Because me always busy, but what? I have to know when Sherika Jackson beat Shakari.
Brother, I have to have every notification for the Olympics. I want to hear every run.
Now Sherika Jackson coming
every jump.
Oh, that is absolutely huge of Wade Pinkham.
Every fling, live.
So, take us then.
Nothing can miss me.
We're always on the move.
So while we're driving, run, Ghislaine, run.
Jogging. Yes. Run, Watson, win again.
Watson is now a world champion.
Or even at work.
Quick, the race has started.
We can't miss a beat because we keep it locked
to the only station
for the Paris Olympics.
Nationwide.
90
FM.
Nationwide 90.1, 90.3, 90.5, 90.7 and 90.9, and on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live. Nationwide, the new revolution in media.
Dr. Daly is a former program director for the College of Health Sciences at the University of Technology and currently serves as a part-time lecturer. She does seminars on corporate wellness and team building strategies and health and wellness in the workplace. She also offers lifestyle and wellness coaching and offers personalized wellness packages. Dr. Daly is also the co-owner and founder of Nasare R&M Company Limited. All natural skincare products are available for customers. They also do private labeling and customized skincare packages. She can be contacted by email at drdenisedaily@gmail.com for bookings and consultations. She can also be found on Instagram and Facebook at Dr. Denise Daly.
Good God have mercy. Hey, good God have grace.
Welcome back to Nature's Remedies, where we're talking about the neem tree and its potential benefits to your health. We're taking your calls, and the numbers are 630-9371-4 and 618-8255. We have Richard on the line. Do you have a question for our pharmacognosis, Dr. Denise Daly?
Yes, good evening, gentlemen and doc. Question, Doc. Like taking the neem, I'm very inconsistent with it. Do we have a set period of time you have to continue with it, or so is it? And then the other question I see, at work I have it, then my coworker they'd like to have a lot of sugar in it. What's your recommendation when that is concerned? Because I don't take sugar in mine.
Okay, so a lot of sugar. With herbal teas, sugar is only if you can manage the taste of it, you can add a little for sugar. But you really want to have it as fresh as possible. And adding the sugar or honey is just for your tastes and for your liking. So you having it without sugar, that's fine. If they're having it with sugar because it's very bitter, then it's okay. As long as it's not too much sugar to spike the blood sugar level, and then the neem would have to do extra work in balancing the blood sugar level as well. And I didn't hear your first question.
Do one have a set period of time to continue to drink this to get the benefit, or
okay? So a set time you want to have. You can have your neem tea once every 3 to 5 days, and if you do that, you rest for the next days of the week. So if it's 4 to 2 days, you'll take some rest. Just give it a break. And if it's part of your preventative regime, it's part of your everyday tea, you can have neem every now and then. Now, if it's for healing properties and it's a higher dose, then you'll be 2 times per day. And then you rest the following day. And, so again, we customize it based on the person that is having the neem. But for everyday teas, you want to take it 3 to 5 times for the week, then you rest and just drink water or drink a different type of tea and allow your body to use the medicinal compounds in it.
Thanks very much. You have enlightened my ignorance.
You're most welcome.
We have a question from YouTube, Doc, asking how best to store the leaves of the neem tree when you dry them.
All right. If you're storing it, you can store it in a dark paper bag. Or if you have paper towel or newspaper, you can store it in a jar, and you want to ensure that you have them protected. They're not getting too damp or too wet. Although they're antifungal, antibacterial, you also want to ensure that when you're making teas, there are no environmental anything added to your neem leaves. So just dry them, wash them in some baking soda, have them in a clean container that's aerated. So that's why paper bag is the first option. Try not to go for any plastic. If you're putting it in a plastic bag, try to have it with some paper towel or brown paper around it, so it keeps nice moist, not too moist, rather.
All right, our next caller is William. You're on the line.
Hello, man. Sorry. Good afternoon, Siobhan. And
evening, William.
Cliff.
Good evening.
Also, good afternoon to Doc. Yeah, two quick things about the name. It bears some little seed.
Yes.
Right? How healthy it is for a human? If it can be eat, how healthy it is for you? Because I see bird eat it, but I never try to eat it.
In India, all parts of the neem are used. The seeds actually look like olives, so they eat it raw and they cook it as well. We don't eat it in Jamaica it's not a part of our diet, but it is also medicinal, and it is eaten fresh or crushed as well. I've never tried it because of the neem oil and the taste of it, though.
Yeah, because I see special to the nightingale bird, them all they come and eat and take a tractor in front of my yard here.
Yes, and they feed on the flowers. The flowers taste good, though. The flowers, you can add it to your salads, you can add it to a nice iced tea or drink, and they're also medicinal.
Okay. Yeah, also the leaf. It's better to be dry before you dry it. I prefer you dry it when it's green. This one is the better ways to use it.
When you dry it, before you dry it, you need this of the neem because it will be very strong. Now, if it's a part of your everyday and you just pick 2 to 3 leaves, because it is fresh, it have more water, it's a little more dilute. So it depends. If it's dry, you need less leaf to use. So anyone can be used, it's just the quantity. I use both.
Because why I ask you, because time to time I heard people say it's not good to you draw green leaves, better you make it dry. So I just want to get something straightened out on it.
Yes, often persons say that, and for most plants, the water content and some of the chemicals would be lost when you dry it. However, the water that's there when you're pulling it as tea, it's a part of the entire mix, and it's safe to have as well.
Yeah, before I go back, you have a herb called country elbow. You know of it?
Country elbow, no. I probably need another name to know it. Country elbow.
Well, if my father, he normally boil it and give him donkey and him ass and so in the country. But it's bitter also because he boil it and give me and it me drink it. But it run like hog meat or those whisk. Something run like that.
Okay.
But I know him call it country elbow. I don't know if it have a next name.
All right, I'll start looking up to here. If anybody have a scientific name or another common name, then we can definitely know how
Country
it has
elbow.
been used in research. Yeah, country elbow.
Right, yeah.
You say it's a tree or a plant or what?
No, man, it run like a whisk like.
Oh.
Right,
And
it
it's
run
not
like
donkey.
Right, so you can just dry it off, just like when I dry rice and peas and thing like that. The bush and call rice and peas.
Yes.
Right, and him dry it and boil it and throw guineas also night and give him donkey and him ass and so.
Oh, a tonic.
Straighten them. So nutritive and tonic.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Speaking of, so neem as a contraceptive, just to quickly add, the neem oil, you have a product that was made, praneem, where it can be inserted for women as a contraceptive. They insert the oil or they insert the product and it kills the sperm. Now, men can also use it where added to the penis, it also helps to reduce the amount of sperm, but it can also not give it the turgidity it needs to carry out its act. So neem is very potent.
What do you mean use it? So how you use it on the penis?
You'd massage, you'd add it similar to a massage oil. So you massage it over it at the tip to ensure that you wouldn't have as much sperm going in. So the sperm would die.
But it seems counterproductive, Doc.
Yes?
It seems counterproductive to the function, though.
No, but that's the sperm. That's if you're using it as a contraceptive.
No, but you said it also affects the rigidity. So I'm saying it seems counterproductive to its function.
For some it won't. So it's a matter of trying if they'd want to try it at that time.
So how does it penetrate the skin of the penis so that it can influence the flow of the sperm?
It would be towards the tip. So when the sperm's leaving, some of that, the oil, the compounds within the oil would slow and reduce some of that. So if the man does it, the female does it as well. It's part of the contraceptive method.
Oh.
Yes. So that's one of the natural ones that traditional medicine would use.
But be careful, men, if you're going to attempt that, try it out beforehand, because as she said, there are some men who will have the effect that it inhibits your ability to function at the time comes. So bear that in mind.
It's not for all of us. In other words.
But it's one of the good ones.
Oh.
And it's also...
All right, Doc.
East Central, you're on the line.
Good evening, East Central.
Even Sayed, even Sivan, even Doctor, even YouTubers.
Good evening.
How are you?
There, man. I say you, Doc, guess what? I always pick some Guinean, come have a whole heap of Guinean at home. I always pick some Guinean for some elders. What are the main reasons the elders use the Guinean?
Why the elders use Guinea hen weed?
Yes.
Guinea hen weed is one of the top medicinal plants that we have all over Jamaica, and just the goats are having it. Guinea hen weed, I think we're gonna go into Guinea hen weed one of these weeks as well. It's very good for the prostate. We have a compound DTS that's in it, especially the root. It helps to kill any tumor cells, suppresses tumor cells, and it's very good in preventing cancer. And if it's early stage, it helps to treat it as well. Research has shown it for different cell lines and different research as well outside of the lab in animal cells. For guinea hen, it also is a nutritive herb. It helps to boost the body and to ensure that you can go further. It's an adaptogen type of a herb. So there are many benefits. Balance the blood sugar level, balance the cholesterol level. So guinea hen weed you can also have as one of your preventative herbs in your routine.
I remember during the COVID-19 when I catch TB, I used to use guinea hen and garlic. And that one of the things where I think it clears some where of the body or it enhances sex drive so that I could get a little action. Is that possible?
Yeah. Yes, it is, because it builds up the prostate. It's very good for the prostate and the male reproductive system. It has a lot of minerals to build up not only the prostate, but the sperm count as well. So adding guinea hen weed to some of the root drink, like the one I would make, it helps to boost the entire reproductive system of the man.
Okay. So,
and it's good with the immune system, so, and anti-inflammation. So when you speak about COVID, like the virus, etc.,
yeah,
definitely one of the herbs to help cleanse the body.
Where is it grown mainly? It's mainly grown...
right around the backyard, right on the house.
I was just gonna say around your backyard. It's garlic weed. That's another name for it. Anytime you cut your lawn or your yard, you have that garlic plant that you smell.
Yeah.
That is a guinea weed. It's a thin leaf. It's shiny on the top, and it has some white flower-like things that grow up.
Yeah.
Yes.
You find it on the light wires, electrical wires?
No, that would be a mosses.
Oh,
on the
that's a
ground.
moss. Okay.
Right on the ground.
Mhm.
And you can't get rid of it. If you have it in your lawn, you have to dig up the root and make sure all parts are gone, or it's growing back.
Oh.
Well, I've been seeing it from I was born because I've been living at the same specific platform now, and a lot of Guinean, and many people always ask me to pick Guinean to give them for a year, so I have it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Add it to to your drink. I love because of the taste. You can make a nice colorless drink with it and enhance it. So there are different recipes you can make if you don't like to just chew the leaves or making a tea. Add it to your green juice and you can have a nice guinea hen drink.
Boogs that make part of your mix up and blender.
So
you don't use guinea hen in your mix up?
All right, Essential. Cool. Petal, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Hughes.
Good
evening, Siobhan. Hi,
Evening,
Dr.
Petal.
Good evening, Petal.
Yeah. Doc, I wonder if you remember about the apricot seed when I ask you. If you find out from me, was it? I never remember.
You know, when I came off, I went and I looked it up and I'm like, yeah, the apricot seed is medicinal as well. But I wanted to do some more research on it and to find the active components in it. So that can be added to one of our herbs for the week. But the medicinal properties.
I'm hearing that it is good for the big C.
For the?
Big C for cancer. That's why I'm asking.
Yes, and I read that, but I didn't get the active component in it. So I wanted to do some more to see what the advances in it.
Yeah, a friend of mine
preliminary research.
She was telling me about it, and I said I never heard about that. And she said that she eats like just two seeds of it.
Yeah.
The apricot? That's the apricot?
Yeah,
yes.
Apricot seed. It looks
Apricot
like
seed.
almond.
Ah.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of the...
And you can eat the seed, Petal?
Say that again, please.
You can eat the seed?
Yes, you can eat the seed, yeah.
Oh?
Chew it up.
Okay.
And remember me tell you, say two sides of my family have cancer, so anything them tell me about cancer, me gravitate to it, because me don't want to get it.
Guinea hen weed and your neem.
Yeah, the neem. So I have to stop off of the neem, Doc. The neem, you know, the neem makes me hungry, though, Doc. When I drink it, it opens my appetite.
Yes, it does. And it's good for digestive. So any indigestion, any colic, drink some neem tea. Any after effect from alcohol, drink some neem tea the following morning. It soothes the stomach. And yes, it does open the appetite because it works best when you have food afterwards.
Yes,
it helps.
Yes. And Doc, tell them about it being good for the skin. Because I had a friend that she had some itches on her skin, and it was the neem that she used to bathe her skin, and it cleared it up very well. I was surprised.
Yes, it's excellent for the skin, and that's why I have an entire skin line with neem because of the properties.
Really?
Yes. So because of it, it's good with antifungal, athlete's foot, Any irritations, eczema, very good to add it. So you can create that wash. Just get some neem leaves, put it in a bath, draw it as a tea. Try to crush the leaf as much as possible and use a neem soap, like Nassery neem soap. Wash the foot or the area, and then you get the Nassery oil and massage it. If you're making your own, soak the neem, whether it's the seed or the oil. Soak the neem. After you do your foot wash, add it every day, twice a day, and you will see some relief. That's how strong the azadirachtin in it is.
And I remember having a sprain, and I had neem oil massage it, and it helped it very well. Yeah.
Which means that is true, and that means that sprain, the inflammation was high. Neem helps to suppress any pro-inflammatory enzyme within the body. So it helps to reduce inflammation and get rid of pain. So the oil is good, and drinking it as a tea reduce inflammation. And when you talk about cancer, it suppresses some tumor enzymes within the body. And that research was an eye opener to traditional medicine. Yes, we say it all along, but when they actually see it happening in the lab, then there's more basis for it to be incorporated into medicine. So anti-cancer, neem is one of those plants.
Wow, really? Yes. And Doc, the lady that spoke about the before, just speaking about
thyroid.
Thyroid. You need to tell her not to have alkaline water. Is that so?
I usually just promote water or herbal water.
Yes. But I remember a friend of mine, she has that issue. And she said the doctor told her that she's not to have alkaline water. Mm-hmm. She can have the purified and spring water, but not alkaline.
Because it has heavier minerals in it.
Oh,
and we already, it depends on what aspect of the thyroid. Is it too much or is it too little iodine and other minerals? So that can make it even worse. So it's just best to have regular water or herbal water overall.
Okay. Thank you. I missed you last week. Bye, Cliff.
Bye, Petal.
Thank you so much.
Good. Claudette, good evening.
Yes, if you ever make my credit done. And my doctor.
Hi.
Good night. And good night to all of you and those guys in here.
Good night, Claudette.
When I want Cliff and him followers, them laugh for me, Because I'm an old man. But let me tell you about the neem. Them say, neem tree, the miraculous neem tree, the evergreen miraculous neem tree. That's what I'm calling in the book. The evergreen miraculous neem tree. You see, if you eat, like say, a tree seed or the green one, try to stay near your bathroom and have your food by your fire. Because I said, don't use the bathroom so you want food to eat. That's on the green seed, I eat that, Clean you out, and you just want to eat. All right. Let me tell you the right one now. On personal talk, me not ask somebody. You see the right one? You don't know, because I used to walk out of the tree in my morning time, come take bus. So we eat all two of the ripe one. You don't know, so when we eat the ripe one, I have to stop eating it as full as me, Doc. Let me tell you, I don't want Cliff and him friend them here. You know, sir, when we eat the ripe one, I'm going to go bathroom, go urinate. It's that nice, the feelings come down. I have to stop eating it in my old days, You never talk about rope and head and rope and ray. Remember, two of the seed and a bangarang. You tell us, I don't want to laugh after me. You make them agree.
No, I mean, man. They're listening.
You know what I'm calling chunk of it? Timber.
Yes.
Each chunk name timber. Some people don't know what name timber, but you don't know what I do. I make them remember about timber. Then you have one song when I look at it, says, timber. Your timber. Yeah.
Okay, all right, good. So I'm glad that.
So hold on there. You stop eat the neem because.
Cliff, leave me alone. Listen, I have to stop because I'm old and I'm 70 now. What is the brother here, man?
What do you mean? Then all that means say you're done?
Me not tell you I'm done, but me not just want to come. My husband did, Oh. I just want to come. Leave me alone. Love you, baby. I love the program.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Doc.
So I didn't know it had that effect, Doc.
Yes, we added. Well, I added to a meal tonic that I normally put together. Because the nutritive properties, the anti-inflammatory properties, and it has some aphrodisiac properties, but it's not promoted as a lot because we have more herbs that have that, but it has aphrodisiac properties.
I'm sure that can be an episode in and of itself.
No. Anyway, Doc, thank you very much. We learned a lot about the neem. Yeah? And Claudette put the icing on the cake. Yeah?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Thank you very much, Dr. Denise Daly, inside or with Nature's Remedies. Thank you so much. See you next week, Tuesday evening, Doc.
Yes, take care and have a good night.
Okay, good. All right, that's where we're going to leave it this evening. Want to say thanks to all our callers or contributors or YouTubers or WhatsAppers and or tweets. Thanks to our producer, Dana Davey, and of course our technical operator, Andrew Anderson, and members of the news and production team led by our editor, Ms. Cara Powell. Thank you so much. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.